Chapter 4:15. However, from the beginning to the end, Bai Yunj did not even look at him. The atmosphere was very awkward. Only Director Lin stared at him expressionlessly. It was as if in the next moment, the environmental bag that Director Lin was carrying could very well hit his head. At this moment, He Maching also came up aggressively with Manager Qian. Manager Qian, no matter what you say this time, you have to punish Wang Jia. He Maching attracted the attention of many other employees. Of course I will punish her. I will make Wang Jia and those two people scram together. Manager Qian sneered. Why didn't he know that the whole corporation was about to become a courier store? However, just as Manager Qian walked out of the elevator and towards the VIP room with a cold expression, an anxious voice sounded from behind. Don't walk so fast. You have to be careful with this thing, be careful. The two people who were carefully carrying the huge suitcase only paid attention to the suitcase in their hands and almost knocked Manager Qian to the ground. Brother, are you alright? I'm sorry. The person carrying the huge suitcase wanted to poke his head out to look at Manager Qian, but was completely blocked by the suitcase. He could only shout at the back. After apologizing, the two of them carried the suitcase into the VIP room. However, when Manager Qian saw this scene, he was so angry that smoke almost came out of his 7 orifices. However, before Supervisor Qian could start cursing, another 4 people came from behind, carrying 2 large safes. Everyone was stunned. What the heck? Packages are stored in safes? I almost thought that there were gold and silver treasures inside. Hahaha, did you see that suitcase clearly? It's a limited edition custom-made VIO. It costs 6 to 7 million yuan. It's hard to buy it even if you have money. Do you think a normal person would use this suitcase to store packages? Hearing this, everyone understood. So it was a high-end imitation. At this moment, Manager Qian had already walked into the VIP room with a dark expression. The others were also secretly watching. CEO Hong deliberately said to Bai Yunj. It's normal for girls to like luxury goods. But it's so cheap to buy a fake one. Why don't I buy you a real one? Bai Yunj glanced at him with an impatient look in his eyes. Do you have a lot of things to do? Just as CEO Hong was about to continue speaking, his eyes met with Bai Yunj's cold gaze, and he subconsciously felt a chill run down his spine. Subsequently, before Bai Yunj could take out the keys from her pocket, she heard He Maching speak arrogantly. Manager Qian, it's this young lady who insisted on coming to the VIP room. Those who don't know better would think that she's someone from the Hua Corporation. Manager Qian's face darkened and he sneered. Miss Pei, you said that your sister Shu's guest. Do you have evidence? Hearing this, Wang Jia immediately explained. Supervisor Qian, she really is. Big Sister Shu said. Shut up. Who are you to speak here? Supervisor Qian glanced at her coldly and reprimanded her. Wang Jia's face turned red and white. But surprisingly, she still insisted. No matter what, Miss Pei is indeed Big Sister Shu's guest. This package also says Miss Pei. If you chase Miss Pei out, Big Sister Shu will be angry. Seeing that Wang Jia still dared to refute him, Manager Qian felt that Wang Jia was becoming more and more daring. He sneered. Alright, then I want to see if Big Sister Shu will appear here. As soon as he finished speaking, Bai Yunj glanced at him casually and then took out a key. Are you going to stand here and watch me open the package? Chapter 4:16. Why do you have gold inside? Manager Qian's tone was sarcastic and disdainful. When Bai Yunj heard this, she glanced at him unhurriedly and did not say anything. She turned around and looked at the 2 safes and leather suitcases. Her eyelids twitched. Suddenly, Bai Yunj received a message. She opened it and realized that it was from Qin Lang. Qin Lang, the password of the safe is 6 **********. Third brother will send the key to you alone. Mua. Bei Yunj was speechless. Suddenly, Himaching's sarcastic voice sounded. Why? Are you too ashamed to open the safe? Don't you dare to use Vio's imitation to store things? Bei Yunj did not look at her at all. After putting her phone back into her pocket, she thanked the six of them. This lazy attitude made Himaching grit her teeth in anger. She wanted to see how this woman could continue pretending. Using a safe to store things, she really thought that her things were precious. The next moment, Bei Yunj identified the safe that Qin Luyan had given her and her eyebrows twitched unconsciously. Last time, Qin Luyan had told her that this was not something precious. It was just some small accessories and materials for her to play with. Thinking of this, Bei Yunj took out the key and decided to open Qin Luyan's. Who knew, when she opened the safe door, more than 10 pearls and diamonds the size of pigeon eggs squeezed out. No one could laugh at the scene. Bei Yunj was speechless. Wang Jia was the first to react. She immediately picked up the pearls and diamonds all over the floor. They had never seen such big pearls and diamonds in their lives. Although it looked quite real, it still looked quite real. Miss Pei, your pearls and diamonds. Wang Jia placed the diamonds and pearls on the table in fear and trepidation. When the others heard this, they felt that Wang Jia was probably stupid. These pearls and diamonds were so big, did they look real? Until they saw Bei Yunj pick up a ruby necklace and stuff the pearls and diamonds from just now into it casually. Everyone could not help but feel their hearts ache. Although they knew that the jewelry was fake, their hearts still ached when they saw it being treated like this. Suddenly, a girl sighed. That ruby necklace really looks like the eye of the god of creation. What eyes? The eye of the god of creation was sold 3 years ago for 520 million. It was bought by a rich collector. This young lady's high-quality imitation is exactly the same as the real one. The more the crowd listened, the more they felt an inexplicable strange feeling. Bei Yunja's eyes were filled with impatience from the commotion and she glanced at the restless crowd. The next moment, everyone subconsciously shut their mouths. Just sign for it. Bei Yunj was not in the mood to continue driving. Miss, please open it. The person who spoke felt his scalp go numb. If these were lost, even if the 6 of them went to the black market to sell their organs, they wouldn't be able to afford it. Bei Yunj, not long after. Bei Yunj continued to open the suitcase. Inside were some fashionable leather bags and clothing accessories. There were about 20 to 30 of them, and they were casually stuffed into the suitcase. It looked like it was bought from a wholesale market. The people watching unconsciously heaved a sigh of relief. That's not bad. It was just a leather bag. Look at that khaki-colored one. Doesn't it look like the same style as Princess Oprah's? I heard that there are only 2 in the world. Don't say such weird things, okay? This was a high-quality imitation. Everyone hypnotized themselves. Chapter 4:17. But then again, why didn't they see any WeChat merchants selling such high-quality imitations? Just as everyone was struggling to figure out what was going on, a trace of doubt appeared in their hearts. Suddenly, Bei Yunj took out a bag and turned to ask, Grandma, how do you usually store food in this bag? Everyone was speechless. All right, it was true. This is very expensive, right? Director Lin had a feeling that the things bought by the 3 young masters of the Qin family would not be cheap. It's all right. Bei Yunj said slowly. The brand of this bag seemed to be created by Jasmine's grandfather. A few times, Jasmine's father wanted to send her some, but she did not need them, so she rejected them. Okay, this looks quite waterproof. Director Lin was happy. Bei Yunj glanced at him and nodded very respectfully. Everyone was speechless. Was a high-quality imitation not worthy of being treated well? Used to store food? Suddenly, a strange light flashed across Manager Qian's eyes and he sneered. Do you know that it's illegal to produce high-quality imitation luxury goods? Even if Bei Yunj did not make it, Bei Yunj had bought so many fake goods. He could deliberately report her for illegal trafficking. Manager Qian sneered. I'll call the police now. Let's see how arrogant you can be. With that, Wang Jia immediately panicked. But before she could explain, she heard a dignified female voice. Hey, Qian Di, who do you want to call the police to arrest? As soon as she finished speaking, everyone did not even dare to join in the fun, afraid that they would be caught by the female devil. When Manager Qian heard this voice, his smile froze. Why was Sister Shu really here? Shu, Manager Qian slowly turned his head. When he saw Sister Shu, he was about to flatter her when he saw Sister Shu walk to Bei Yunj. Miss Pei, I'm really sorry to have made you wait here for so long. At this moment, everyone froze. What did Sister Shu mean? This was the VIP room. Actually, there's a lounge on the 6th floor. If Assistant Seng is not around next time, I'll take you there. Sister Shu smiled. Everyone was speechless. Only the big shots of the top management deserved to have the lounge on the 6th floor. Nothing, I just came to check on the delivery. When Sister Shu heard this, she smiled and looked at Principal Lin again, her eyes full of admiration. You must be Dean Lin Lanjun. I used to be from Yunqing University, but I didn't have the chance to meet you. In an instant, Wang Jia was stunned. Who was it? President Lin Lanjun? Wang Jia suddenly raised her head and looked at Director Lin. She suddenly remembered why this person looked so familiar. On the commendation wall of Yunqing University, wasn't this person standing next to the former principal? Not only Wang Jia, but everyone else also suspected that they were dreaming. What did Sister Shu just say? However, Sister Shu stood at the side and was still chatting with Bei Yunj. She smiled gently and said, one of these bags is in the hands of Oprah. I didn't expect that CEO Qin would buy the other one for you. He didn't buy this. He bought the things in the first safe. Qin, you had bought these bags. So that's how it is. I forgot that the other two young masters of the Qin family also dote on you. Sister Shu laughed involuntarily. Pei Yunja's lips twitched and she opened the third box. It was a gift from Qin Lang. They were all raw stones like Hetian jade, and Dushan jade that Qin Lang liked to collect in the past, as well as a few calligraphy and paintings. Qin Lang had asked her to take a photo with him last time. Chapter 418. Bei Yunj picked up the photo casually and suddenly felt something hard on the back of the photo. She flipped it over instinctively. She did not expect a bank card to be pasted on the back. Then, just as Bei Yunj had yet to regain her senses, someone suddenly approached her from behind. Who gave this to you? Bei Yunj turned back instinctively and saw Qin Yu's arrogant and handsome face. Then, before Bei Yunj could speak, Qin Yu saw the photo and narrowed his good-looking eyes. He snorted coldly. No wonder he didn't show me what he sent. He never thought that Qin Lang would do such a thing behind his back. This card, before Bei Yunj could finish speaking, Qin Yu seemed to know what Bei Yunj was thinking. This card seems to be the bonus and salary that Qin Lang has saved up from competitions over the years. After Qin Yu finished explaining, he specially explained, actually, it's not much. Second brother has saved more than him. Bei Yunj was speechless. She really could not understand what these three people were trying to do. At this moment, when the people not far away saw this scene, they felt like they were in a dream. This was Qin Yu. It was their first time seeing Qin Yu coax this young lady like this. F***ck, did you hear that? Did Qin Yu call himself second brother just now? He even said that Qin Lang gave him that card. Someone suddenly regained their senses. Everyone was speechless. They weren't deaf, okay? Then this is Bei Yunj, who was on the trending searches previously, right? The person beside her is Director Lin Lanjun. Everyone was speechless. They had been so focused on Qin Yu's face that they had forgotten such important information. In the electronic library, the elder young lady of the Qin family? F***ck, she's so good-looking. Instantly, everyone could not help but be shocked. This face is too good-looking. I'm willing to exchange 10 lifetimes of my IQ for her looks. Boo-hoo. The boy beside her muttered softly, first of all, you have to have IQ. The round-faced girl gave the boy who spoke a death smile. The boy, did women nowadays not like to hear the truth? At this moment, many people couldn't help but look at Bai Yunj curiously after learning of her identity. After all, this was the real young miss of the Qin family. However, He Ma-ching, manager Qian, and CEO Hong's expressions were especially stiff. She was actually the eldest daughter of the Qin family, especially He Ma-ching, who had suddenly found out about Bai Yunj's identity. She was afraid and jealous. Why did Bai Yunj have such a good life? She was born a rich heiress and was doted on by 3 older brothers. What about her? In order not to let others look down on her, she gritted her teeth and moved into a high-end apartment. In order to buy branded clothes, she had to please the supervisor and seduce the greasy boss of the company. He Ma-ching could not help but clench her fists and look at Bai Yunj sinisterly. Who knew? Suddenly, Sister Shu turned around and met He Ma-ching's eyes. He Ma-ching was shocked. Seeing this, Sister Shu curled her lips coldly and looked at Supervisor Qian first. Supervisor Qian, why did you call the police to arrest Miss Pei just now? Tell me clearly. With that said, Supervisor Qian felt a cold gaze appear in Qin Yu's eyes and it landed on him. He was so scared that his legs almost went weak. This is a misunderstanding, Sister Shu. Chapter 419. These words made Qin Yu laugh. However, his handsome and noble face was covered in coldness and his tone was exceptionally dangerous. You dare to arrest my sister and take her to the police station just because of a misunderstanding? No. Manager Qian's face paled and a chill ran down his spine. No? Then tell me, what did the elder young miss of the Qin family do that you want to send her to the police station? Qin Yu looked at him, but his smile did not reach his eyes. His gaze was clearly saying, if you don't give me an explanation today, I'll let you say goodbye to this beautiful world. I was really wrong, Mr. Qin. Manager Qian wanted to cry. How could he have known that this was actually the elder young miss of the Qin family? But now, he had been instigated by someone else and thought that the dozens of bags Bai Yunj had gotten must be high-quality imitations. Before Manager Qian could push the blame away, he heard Sister Shu say, Mr. Qin, I think I vaguely heard Manager Qian say that Miss Pei's bags are fake. He wants to report Miss Pei for selling imitation luxury goods. With that said, Manager Qian's legs almost turned to jelly and he almost didn't dare to breathe under Qin Yu's murderous gaze. You're really good. Is the bag I gave you fake? Qin Yu snorted and asked coldly. Everyone was shocked when they heard this. Did Qin Yu buy this? Didn't Qin Yu say back then that this kind of fancy branded bag was the most worthless thing? Then what was he doing now? Buying limited edition bags wholesale for his sister? Haha. Indeed, one could not believe a word this D*MN man said. Mr. Qin, no. How can what you bought be fake? Manager Qian was afraid of offending Qin Yu and immediately found a scapegoat. It's her. He Ma-ching told me. Manager Qian turned around and slapped He Ma-ching, almost slapping her to the ground. He said fiercely, B*TCH, are you trying to harm me on purpose? You were the one who told me that Miss Pei's grandmother lives next door to you. You even said that Miss Pei's grandmother doesn't look like a good person and looks poor. Hearing this, the others felt that something was wrong. Doesn't He Ma-ching live in a villa? Principal Lin lives next door to her? Someone couldn't help but ask. Manager Qian, who felt that he had been used by He Ma-ching, sneered. Her? Live in a villa? How many more men does she have to sleep with before she can fulfill this wish? Qian. He Maching's tone was sharp. She didn't expect Manager Qian to fall out with her in public. Bitch, did I say something wrong? Can you afford the branded clothes you're wearing? Manager Qian's tone was disdainful. As for the others, when they heard this explosive gossip, they couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. So he Maching wasn't a rich young lady. To think that all these branded clothes were obtained in this way, instantly, the way everyone looked at he Maching changed. He Maching could not stand everyone's strange gazes and could not help but scream. She flew into a rage out of humiliation and went up to grab Manager Qian's face. After Supervisor Qian was scratched, he became even angrier. He grabbed he Maching's hair and slammed it against the table. Everyone was dumbfounded by this scene. Then, the boys came back to their senses and immediately went forward to pull Supervisor Qian away. UB*TCH, how dare you catch me? If it wasn't for me, would you have F*King stayed in the Hua Corporation? After Manager Qian felt the burning pain on his face, he cursed even more. Chapter 420. This B*TCH. If it wasn't for his support, would she be able to stay in the Hua Corporation? She actually dared to lay a hand on him? The more Manager Qian thought about it, the angrier he became. He laughed coldly. He Maching, you're a bus that anyone can get on. Why are you still pretending to be a rich young lady? Why don't you see if you're worthy? You said that Wang Jia smells like fish, but what about you? Your father is just a stall seller. How dare you talk about others? Qian. He Maching's facade was exposed and she immediately screamed in despair. In the next moment, seeing Qian's ugly expression, a ferocious look flashed past he Maching's face and she laughed out loud again. Qian, who are you? Didn't you sleep with me back then? When your wife was pregnant, didn't you do it with me? He wanted to destroy her. All right. Then go to hell with her. He Maching's eyes were filled with hatred and madness. Instantly, the people around widened their eyes. They did not expect such a thing to happen. No wonder Manager Qian treated he Maching so well usually, so these two people had such a relationship behind the scenes. Manager Qian's expression froze. He did not expect he Maching to dare to say this. This woman was crazy. She was really crazy. Manager Qian, it seems like you're very happy to be in this position. At this moment, Sister Shu laughed. Sister Shu, no, she seduced me on purpose. Don't listen to this B*TCH. Before Manager Qian could finish speaking, he heard Sister Shu say coldly, the company has a clear rule that you can't have any transactions with your subordinates or superiors. This is one of the reasons. Secondly, it's my first time hearing that you want to send an important guest of the company to the police station. Manager Qian, you're really something. No, Sister Shu, believe me. I really didn't know Miss Pei's identity. Who would have known that an important guest was only coming to the company to get a package? Who would have known that this package was not an ordinary package? You don't know Miss Pei's identity? Miss Pei has an appointment, so she's my guest. So, you want to target my guest? In an instant. Manager Qian's face was pale and he was at a loss for words. He knew that he would definitely be implicated if he offended the elder young miss of the Qin family this time and Qin Yu found out. But now, Sister Shu's attitude was that she wanted to dismiss him. Today, you and he Maching will pack your things and leave. Oh right, Wang Jia can be considered a veteran. Her performance has always been good. She will take over the position of the supervisor in the future. Elder Sister Shu said expressionlessly. However, regardless of whether it was the first sentence or the second sentence, they both caused the crowd to boil over. Manager Qian had so many connections in the company. How could Sister Shu chase him away just like that? This new replacement was the most marginal person on the second floor. At first, everyone didn't understand. Then, they suddenly realized that the only person who had been speaking up for Miss Pei and Director Lin was Wang Jia. What kind of luck did Wang Jia have? The moment manager Qian stepped down, she became the person with the highest position on the second floor. At this moment, Wang Jia also felt like she was in a dream. She had just been scolded by Supervisor Qian, and now she had replaced Supervisor Qian's position. After regaining her senses, Wang Jia immediately said excitedly, Thank you, Sister Shu. I'll do my best." "Why are you thanking me?" Sister Shu smiled and glanced at Bei Yunj. In the end, she did not say anything. Chapter 421. How could this be? How could Sister Shu fire him? It wasn't just Manager Qian. He Maching, who was beside him, also looked like she was having a mental breakdown. Her expression looked like she was crying and laughing at the same time. How could this be? How could the old thing living next door be the former dean of Yunqing University that they were talking about? Since this girl was the eldest daughter of the Qin family, why did she only let this old thing live in a high-end district? Then, before He Maching could regain her senses, her phone kept ringing. When she took it out to take a look, she realized that the person who had been calling her was Shaoli, the person in charge of the district. He Maching didn't want to offend him, so she immediately picked up the call. However, she didn't expect to hear Shaoli say coldly, "Miss He, I'm sorry. I'll have to trouble you to move next week." "What? What do you mean? Why should I move? You don't meet the conditions for our apartment, so you have to move." Shaoli put on a fake smile. "Miss, you know very well that the best apartment in our district is the one you live in. But the price we offered you isn't high either. Because you're not the one picking the apartment, but the apartment picking the person." The last sentence seemed to have a deeper meaning. When He Maching thought about how she had just been fired by the whole corporation and was now forced to move, resentment and anger rose in her heart. "It's you. You did it." He Maching turned around and gritted her teeth as she looked at Bei Yunj. "How dare you treat me like this?" "Why wouldn't I dare?" Bei Yunj sneered. His lazy eyes were indescribably arrogant as he asked unhurriedly. He Maching didn't expect that with so many people around, Bei Yunj would dare to admit it directly. "You'll get retribution. Just because you don't like me, you're deliberately taking revenge on me?" "Miss He, you're thinking too much." "I'm thinking too much? Then why should I move out?" Hearing this, Bei Yunj looked up unhurriedly. After looking at her for a while, he asked with a faint smile, "Why should I rent the house under my name to you?" As soon as he finished speaking. At first, everyone didn't understand, but then they had a bold guess. Could it be that the eldest miss of the Qin family bought her house by building? Everyone froze, and He Maching's face turned pale. "Gu, you bought an entire floor?" Director Lin turned around and couldn't help but ask. Bei Yunj, 1. Director Lin, everyone, the world of the rich was unimaginable. "Why are you buying one?" Director Lin had always advocated frugality, which was the same as most of the intellectuals of that era. All corrupt practices were strictly prohibited. Last time, the former principal of Yun University was so angry that he punished his grandson for buying shoes that cost hundreds of thousands of yuan. After her daughter recovered, she bought the entire building. Bei Yunj could tell that Director Lin was unhappy. She immediately held Director Lin's hand. Her beautiful eyes were exceptionally clear. "There's a discount, Grandma." Everyone, it turned out that rich people also liked to buy things on sale. In hindsight, everyone's gaze unconsciously landed on the 3 chests. So, this was really a box of jewelry, a box of branded bags, and a box of jade antiques. My legs are going to go weak. The pearl that just rolled out is actually real. Whoa, such a big pearl. It was poverty that limited her imagination. How could there be such a big pearl and diamond in this world? Chapter 422. Don't you think we should pay more attention to that eye of the god of creation? 2 years ago, it was sold for hundreds of millions. Even now, it would be doubled. When everyone thought of how Bei Yunj had casually stuffed the eye of the god of creation back into the safe just now, their hearts skipped a beat. Did this woman have a heart of stone? Was such a rare piece of jewelry not worthy of her gentleness? The female staff present looked at Bai Yunj and started to wonder if she had saved the world in her previous life. Or had she made a huge contribution to human society? Otherwise, why was she so lucky? She was a rich young lady and had 3 male idols. After dealing with these 3 boxes, the others left. He Maching and manager Qian were also taken away by Sister Shu. Why are you here? Bai Yunj looked up at Qin Yu and asked. Gu, aren't you going back to the old mansion today? Second brother will accompany you to get your things. Qin Yu could not suppress the smile on his lips and he became even happier. He had finally waited for this day. Hearing this, Bai Yunj's eyes darkened and she remembered that Huashidu had mentioned this to her last time. Bai Yunj hid the strange look in her eyes. I want to go to the mall with Grandma first before sending her back. That's good. Second brother drove here. Can second brother send Grandma Lin back? Qin Yu's dark eyes were bright as he looked at Bai Yunj pitifully. Bai Yunj pursed her red lips unconsciously. However, before Bai Yunj could speak, she heard Director Lin say with a smile, okay. If you have the chance in the future, Mr. Qin can come and visit me. Grandma Lin, if you agree, why don't you call me you? When my grandmother was still alive, she liked to call me that too. Qin Yu turned to look at Director Lin and said with a smile. Good child, good. Director Lin nodded and grabbed Qin Yu's hand with a smile. Instead, she let go of Bai Yunj. Bai Yunj turned to look at Director Lin instinctively. You is so handsome. If he were my grandson, I'd be happy too, Director Lin said with a smile. If you're willing, I can do that. After all, you're the one who raised Gu. You're the benefactor of our Qin family. Qin Yu was good-looking to begin with, and when he smiled, it was impossible for people to dislike him. Principal Lin smiled and shook his head. To be honest, she was unwilling to return Gu to the Qin family. Luckily, the Qin family treated Gu very well. On the way, Bai Yunj followed by the side without a word, listening to Director Lin and Qin Yu chat. Until they arrived at the mall. Bai Yunj took Director Lin to a clothing store and picked out many sets of clothes for Director Lin to try. Once she thought that it was not bad, Bai Yunj would buy all of them. She was so fast that Qin Yu, who was beside her, did not even have time to pay to leave a good impression. After coming out, Director Lin looked at the 4 big paper bags that were stuffed to the brim. She immediately grabbed Bai Yunj's hand and wanted to leave as soon as possible. She didn't dare to shop anymore. Bai Yunj found an excuse to go to the restroom in the shopping mall. At this moment, Director Lin turned around and saw Qin Yu, whose face was covered tightly, holding a card in his hand. However, he did not have the time to take it out from the beginning to the end. Director Lin laughed. Did you make Gu angry before? Hearing this, Qin Yu was stunned for a moment before his dark eyes gradually darkened. He gripped the card in his hand tightly unconsciously and a word rolled out of his throat with difficulty. Chapter 423. It's okay. Gu is easy to coax. She'll forgive you. Director Lin smiled. How could she not tell that this big boy was really good to Bai Yunj? However, when Qin Yu heard this, his throat tightened and he lowered his head even more. There was an imperceptible bitter smile in his voice. But I've done something unforgivable. It made him want to kill himself back then. Qin Yu pulled down the brim of his hat and the redness in his eyes could not be seen clearly. However, his voice was a little hoarse. He laughed helplessly. It doesn't matter if you forgive me or not. It's okay. I'll treat Gu well for the rest of my life. What right did he have to get Gu's forgiveness? Director Lin was stunned for a moment before she smiled helplessly. Her turbid eyes seemed to be able to see through everything. Director Lin patted Qin Yu's shoulder and helped him adjust his sleeves. She was kind and gentle. Our Yu is actually a good child, right? It was not the first time Director Lin had seen Qin. On the contrary, Qin had looked for her many times, wanting to support Gu. Take good care of Gu for Grandma, okay? Director Lin and Qin sat in the resting area at the side. Qin heard Director Lin say with a helpless smile, in the past, Gu was gloomy and looked very lonely. Now, Gu looks very good, but her eyes make me feel that she's very lonely. But how many more years can I look forward to? How can I take care of her forever? In the past, she was afraid that if she passed away, no one would take care of Gu. Now that she saw that so many people doted on her, she was relieved. Grandma will definitely live to be 100 years old. With that said, Qin added, in Gu's heart, no one can replace your position in her heart. When Bei Yunj returned, Director Lin watched as she brought over 4 big bags of things. Unlike her usual self, she did not complain that Bei Yunj had bought too much. Instead, she took the paper bag from Bei Yunj's hand and handed it to Qin. She asked Qin to hold it for her. This made Bei Yunj look at Qin unconsciously. Electronic bookstore. After a moment of silence, she said, "Thank you." Gu, you have to be polite to your elders, Director Lin reminded her with a smile. Bei Yunj glanced at Qin and was silent for a while. "Thank you, second brother." As soon as he finished speaking, Qin froze. What did he hear? Did Gu just call him second brother? I am fine. Qin took a deep breath unconsciously and suppressed his excitement. Bei Yunj also nodded very affectionately, before she picked up the other bags and left. Along the way, Qin called out to Gu, even more frequently, his face like a spring breeze. While waiting for the traffic light, he took out his phone out of boredom. Suddenly, he remembered the group chat. Bei Yunj parents, Qin, just now, I heard the words I wanted to hear the most in my life. Qin, I really want to share my happiness with all of you at all members. Qin Lang, are you crazy? Qin Luyan, homeroom teacher, slowly typing a question mark. JPG, Qin, I'm sorry, Teacher Ha-Wen. I forgot you were here too. Kiss, the homeroom teacher of class 7, who was preparing for class at home, could not help but feel his eyelids twitch. He really knew too much in this group. If others knew how the 3 young masters of the Qin family were jealous of their younger sister in the group, they would probably make the headlines. Chapter 424. The moment Teacher Wen sent this, Qin message popped up again. Qin, Gu said thank you to me just now. Qin Lang, you don't have to thank me if you're close, understand? Grin, Qin, she even called me second brother, instantly. The entire group fell silent. Teacher Wen, who had been watching the screen, also felt his eyelids twitch. He did not expect the Qin family to be so obsessed with their sister. Could Bei Yunj's second brother be exchanged for gold? Did he have to show it off? Just as Teacher Wen felt that it was ridiculous, the atmosphere in the group became even worse. Qin Lang, smile. Qin, red packet, congratulations. Qin, red packet, congratulations. Qin, red packet, congratulations. This rain of red packets made Qin Lang, who was sitting in the club, so angry that he almost fumed. He knew that this B** starred was up to no good. He said that he had an event today and could not return to the old mansion to make him lower his guard. In the end, he went to look for Gu behind his back. Was there anything more inhumane than Qin? Brother Lang, what's wrong? A member of the club beside him asked carefully. I'm fine. Taking a deep breath, Qin Lang slammed his phone on the table and continued training. This scene caused the surrounding members to be confused and frightened. The small group was also asking. Member 1, what's wrong with Brother Lang? Is his ex-girlfriend pregnant? Member 2, stop talking nonsense. Brother Lang is a virgin. Where did his ex-girlfriend come from? Member 1, then look at his expression. It looks like his girlfriend was stolen. What's going on? Member 3, have you forgotten that other than girlfriends, there's another creature that can turn a homebody into a fighter? Member 3, biological sister. Brother Lang's biological sister. Member 1. The truth is out. Last time, I saw that Brother Lang's sister was very pretty online and wanted to contact her. In the end, Brother Lang made me clean the toilet for half a month and said that he wanted me to wake up. Member 2, +1. Biological sisters might not be treasured by others, but those who look like little fairies definitely will. I wonder if Brother Lang's sister will come for the friendly match. Member 3, don't let your imagination run wild. If you take one more look at Brother Lang's sister, Brother Lang will let you cut the queue and reincarnate. After sending Director Lin back, Chin-yu drove Bei Yunj back to Washidu's place to get her luggage. Miss Pei, this is, Auntie Meow had just finished cooking. The moment she came out, she saw Chin-yu helping Bei Yunj bring her luggage home. I went home to accompany my grandfather. Upon hearing Bei Yunj's words, Auntie Meow's eyes were filled with reluctance. Huh? Is Miss Pei coming back? How can I trouble Master Du to take care of my Gu? Chin-yu smiled. Gu is the eldest young lady of our Qin family. Of course we will take good care of her. Aunt Meow, take good care of yourself too. I'm done tidying up. Bei Yunj was holding a notebook, and the rest were placed in the box. The other things were not brought by her either. He didn't take it away. Aren't you going to have a meal before leaving? Auntie Meow looked like her daughter was about to leave, her expression full of reluctance. No need. The old mansion has already prepared dinner. The old master is waiting for Gu at home. With that said with a smile, Chin-yu thanked Auntie Meow. Seeing how reluctant Auntie Meow was to part with her, he could tell that Auntie Meow must have taken good care of Gu, usually. Seeing this, Auntie Meow stopped trying to dissuade him and could only watch helplessly as Chin-yu drove back to the old mansion. P.S. Be good and remember to vote. Chapter 425. About half an hour later, Washidu returned, only to find that Auntie Meow had just heated up dinner in the living room. Mr. Hua, you're back. Coincidentally, the food is hot. Auntie Meow smiled. Where's Yunyun? Washidu's well-defined hands pulled off his tie casually. Then, he looked down and unbuttoned his sleeves. Huh? Miss Pei returned to the old mansion today. Did you forget? Auntie Meow was stunned for a moment before she answered. Hearing Auntie Meow say this, Washidu finally remembered that old Master Qin had asked him to tell Yunyun last time. He would let Yunyun stay at the old mansion for a week or two first. After old Master Qin's birthday banquet, he would fetch Yunyun back. After Washidu regained his senses, he said, Yunyun has been staying at the Qin family's old mansion for the past 2 weeks. Auntie Meow, you can rest for a while. 2 weeks? From what second young Master Qin said, Miss Pei doesn't seem to be coming back. Auntie Meow muttered softly. These words made Washidu, who was about to go upstairs, stop in his tracks. Not coming back? Washida's low and calm voice was a little ambiguous. Who said that? Second young Master Qin. Miss Pei stood at the side and didn't say anything. She probably thinks so. Auntie Meow said straightforwardly. Hearing this, Washidu's cold fingers rubbed against hers slowly. After a while, he walked up again. All right, I got it. Mr. Hua, your dinner, I'll eat later. Hearing this, Auntie Meow could not help but have a headache. In the past, when Miss Pei was not around, Mr. Hua had never allowed her to eat and did not cherish her health at all. However, after Miss Pei came, Mr. Hua started to change. At least, he would eat on time every day. But now, Auntie Meow saw that Mr. Hua had not changed at all. He was only willing to eat with Miss Pei every day. In the Qin family's old mansion. Grandpa, why don't you call Qin-yu to hurry him up? Is Qin-yu doing this on purpose? Do you want him to stay with Gu alone? Suppressing his temper, Qin Lang walked to Old Master Qin. Old Master Qin's eyelid twitched. Gu still has to go to Shidu. How can she be so fast? That's true, but Qin Yu isn't a good person. Qin Lang could not help but mutter. The corners of Old Master Qin's mouth twitched. He looked at his anxious grandson and then at his eldest grandson, who was sitting on the sofa and working. Ha ha ha. Are you good people? Don't you know how many times you've come to the old mansion when Gu isn't around? Now, she was in a hurry to live in the old house. Not long after, there was a sound at the door. Old Master Qin and the rest looked up and saw Qin Yu smiling with a beautiful girl beside him. It was their Gu. Bei Yunj didn't say much along the way. When she looked up and saw Old Master Qin, she smiled. Grandpa. What's wrong, Gu? Why do I feel like you're unhappy? Old Master Qin reached out to touch Bei Yunj's head and deliberately teased her. You don't like living with me? How could this be? Bei Yunj smiled. When she turned around, she realized that Qin Lang and Qin Luyan were both there. Seeing that Old Master Qin was staring at her, Bei Yunj narrowed her eyes and said, Big brother, third brother. The moment she finished speaking, Qin Luyan and Qin Lang were also stunned. The atmosphere inexplicably fell into a chill. Was Gu willing to call them that just now? Suddenly, Qin Lang understood why Qin Yu had sent so many red packets just because she called him second brother. Chapter 426. Qin Luyan did not seem to be affected. He responded calmly and sat on the sofa. Qin Lang's heart was beating wildly and he could not suppress the corners of his lips. Gu, do you want to take a look at your room first? I'll go alone. With that said, Qin Yu had already taken the initiative to carry Bei Yunj's luggage upstairs. Seeing this, Bei Yunj could not say anything else and only followed Qin Yu upstairs. Qin Lang, who was trying his best to suppress his emotions, sat on the sofa and could not help but take out his phone. He scrolled through his WeChat moments and liked them crazily. At the same time, it attracted the doubts of his WeChat moments. Brother Lang, did your account get hacked? Brother Lang, why are you liking our opponent's player? The coach has already gone to get the knife. F***ck, Brother Lang, don't scare me. I just heard 2 days ago that you don't like women. Now you're liking my WeChat moments. No way, no way. Dog Qin, are you crazy? I was F***king hit by a car. Why are you liking it? Qin Lang was in a good mood. He ignored those people who were spewing nonsense and flipped through the list happily. However, he also noticed with his sharp eyes that Qin Luyan kept sending red packets in the Qin Corporation's management group. Qin Lang looked up at Qin Luyan, who had a cold and composed expression. He was indeed different on the inside. Upstairs. The moment Bei Yunj pushed open the door, she saw a pink decoration. What's wrong, Gu? Why are you standing there? Do you like it a lot? Second brother and your third brother specially arranged it. After Qin Yu put Bei Yunj's luggage in, he said happily. This was the pink princess room that he and Qin Lang had spent a lot of effort to design. Bei Yunj was speechless. Although she did not hate pink, it was difficult for her to fall asleep with such a strong visual impact. Bei Yunj thought for a moment and asked tactfully, are there any other rooms? What's wrong? Gu doesn't like it? Qin Yu asked instinctively, staring at her unblinkingly. Bei Yunj's eyes flashed. I'm fine. Gu, you rest first. When it's time for dinner, I'll call you upstairs. All right. After watching Qin Yu go downstairs, Bei Yunj walked to the other side of the long corridor. She pushed open the door of the guest room. After making sure that no one was staying, she put her things in. However, Bei Yunj did not notice that the guest room seemed to have just been cleaned. At night, Bei Yunj accompanied Old Master Qin for dinner. Other than Old Master Qin, there were also Qin Luyan and the other two at home. It looked very lively. But for some reason, Bei Yunj still felt a sense of loss. Is the food at home not to your liking? Why do you seem to be eating so little? Old Master Qin asked worriedly. After Bei Yunj came back to her senses, she picked up more food and said, no. Seeing this, Old Master Qin didn't say anything else, but looking at his granddaughter, his heart was like a mirror. If it wasn't because the food wasn't good, then it was because the person he wanted to see wasn't here. After going upstairs, Bei Yunj was flipping through her book as usual, but her phone was not on silent mode. Soon, her phone rang. In less than 3 seconds, Bei Yunj picked up her phone and answered the call. Who knew? It was Delaney's voice from the other end. Miss Pei isn't busy? Delaney was flattered. He did not expect Bei Yunj to answer the call so quickly. Chapter 427. What's the matter? Bei Yunj asked. Actually, it's not a big deal. Delaney chuckled. I'm going to Yunqing in half a month too. Why don't we arrange a time to go out for a meal? Bei Yunj said, I don't have time. I have to prepare for the monthly exam. Delaney was speechless. Was there a more perfunctory reason than this? Will you take a look at the professional league on the maps of the gods? Delaney asked carefully. This was Bei Yunj's third brother's competition after all. He should be there, right? I don't have time. Bei Yunj still used the same words. Delaney was speechless. Was the Qin family cutting ties with Bei Yunj? All right then, Delaney could not hide his sigh. Originally, he really wanted to meet Bei Yunj when he came to Yunqing this time. After all, to be able to have such a scientific research level at such a young age, he would definitely be an amazing person in the future. He felt that his brat was very lucky to be able to let Tich do scientific research with such a person. My brat was still clamoring to come and see you. Then I'll tell him. Bei Yunj suddenly interrupted him. Is Tich coming too? Delaney said without hesitation, yes. Then let him come. Jasmine will come over when he's free. Bei Yunj's words made Delaney suddenly feel that he was inferior to his son. He was a big boss with one of the top 3 assets in the world, yet he was inferior to his silly son. The next moment, before Delaney could feel indignant, he heard Bei Yunj suddenly speak. Delaney, I know you have the idea of raising your son poor. But Tich has lost so much weight. As his father, you have to be concerned. Delaney was speechless. He immediately said, Teacher Pei, did you misunderstand something? Is that so? I think Tich and Jasmine have been in low spirits recently. Although Bei Yunj felt that her 2 students were not very smart, they were still her students. She didn't want anything to happen to her student. Delaney was silent for a moment. Teacher Pei, Tich and the others often stay up all night to complete your missions and don't have time to eat. That's why. They're not in good spirits. It wasn't because they didn't have enough money to eat. Bei Yunj, back then, she had considered that Tich and Jasmine were slow in grasping the content, so she had given them very few missions. Did I arrange a lot? Bei Yunj couldn't help but ask. In her previous life, when she had just started doing research, she had done the same amount of tasks every day. Even if they weren't used to it at first, they would get used to it quickly. Delaney thought for a moment and said tactfully, Teacher Pei, you might not know this, but most people won't be able to catch up to you in their entire lives. After all, back then, Tich had also felt that he was a genius that was hard to come by in 100 years. But when he entered Country R's Computing Institute, he finally sobered up. He even occasionally doubted himself and asked Delaney if it was better for him to go home and inherit billions of assets. Bei Yunj was silent for a long time before hanging up after exchanging a few words with Delaney. A few minutes later, Bei Yunj sent another message in the group chat with Tich and the other 2. Tomorrow's class will be changed to Sunday. There's no rush to send it to my email. Also, if you want to attend the academic exchange meeting in Country R next week, bring my invitation letter. Chapter 428. When Titch and Jasmine, who were working hard on their projects, saw this news, their eyes brimmed with tears of excitement and complicated emotions. Initially, they thought that their teacher had already despised them enough. It was very likely that she would report to Marcus that she wanted to change the two interns. However, they did not expect that their teacher would even give them an invitation to the Our Nation's academic exchange. This was an academic exchange that everyone wanted to attend no matter what. Where did our teacher get an invitation to the Our Nation's academic exchange? Titch was stunned for a moment before he asked in confusion. Only those at the top of the academic circle could have an invitation to the academic exchange. Although their teacher was indeed amazing, she did not have any stable scientific research results in the industry. At this moment, Marcus, who was engrossed in his project, suddenly looked up. "Oh, I forgot to tell you. Busaka has specially invited your teacher to watch the award ceremony. I heard from the judges that your teacher's project was done too late and couldn't make it in time for this year's Busaka award. Therefore, they invited your teacher to watch the venue first and wait for the next one." Titch and Jasmine. Was there such a thing? This was the K.Z. Busaka Award, the highest award in the computing field. Marcus smiled as if he could see their shock. He said leisurely, "That's more like it. You two brats, don't drag her down too much." As for the invitation to the Our Nation's academic exchange, they had probably heard about Busaka and were deliberately trying to curry favor with Bei Yunj. After all, to the public, was still a very unfamiliar existence. Every year, Our Nation would invite the top researchers to speak at the conference. Naturally, they would want to build a good relationship with Bei Yunj. They hoped that if there was a chance in the future, Bei Yunj would give them some face. Marcus could not help but snort. These two hotheads still did not know what level of thigh they had cozied up to. Are we really dragging Teacher Pei down? After Titch was done being agitated, he seemed to have thought of something and his expression darkened. Marcus was very honest, "Yes. Wonderful book, right?" Titch and Jasmine, then, before Jasmine could finish, he was interrupted by Marcus. "What does it matter? How many people in this world wouldn't be a burden to her?" Titch and Jasmine, it seemed to make a lot of sense. "You guys should work harder and make her less upset." Marcus couldn't help but stifle his laughter when he saw the two young geniuses doubting their lives. They were lucky and unlucky to have met such a teacher. As a genius, there were many times when the teacher couldn't keep up with the student halfway through learning. But now, Titch and Jasmine's situation was reversed. He became a student who couldn't catch up to his teacher no matter what. This strong feeling of disparity was indeed heartbreaking. Sheen family's old residence. Bei Yunj had just finished showering and was about to work on a project when she heard her phone ring. Her long eyelashes fluttered, and her gaze fell on the remarks on the screen. Very soon, Bei Yunj answered the phone, but her tone was light. "What's the matter, brother?" "Yes." The man's deep voice became even more magnetic through the electric current, as if deliberately teasing people's eardrums. Bei Yunj sounded a little displeased. "It's so late. Do you have something to tell me?" Chapter 429. The man's upturned eyes were charming and his gaze was deep and explicit. His posture was light and lazy and the corners of his lips curled up into a smile that made people blush and their hearts race. He held a cigarette casually between his fingers as he leaned lazily against the railing of the balcony. His voice was low and hoarse. I can't sleep." Bei Yunj was silent for a moment. "Why can't you sleep?" This man could not take good care of himself when he was working. "I'm afraid that the little girl will have no conscience and forget about me in 2 days." Bei Yunj was speechless. His words made it sound as if she had abandoned him after having sex with him. Before Bei Yunj could finish speaking, she heard the man drag his voice and say slowly, "Brother is alone at home and can't wait for our union to call to say goodnight." His deep and magnetic voice seemed to ring in her ear. His laughter was very sexy and his tone was frivolous and ambiguous. "Have I served you for nothing, Union?" The moment he finished speaking, Bai Yunj felt as if her ears had been scalded and her temperature rose rapidly. She almost threw her phone away. What was wrong with this man recently? Did he think that she could control herself very well, or did he really treat her like a child who did not know anything about relationships? But after a while, Bai Yunj still took a deep breath to make herself look calm. Brother, you're only thinking about having someone accompany you when you're old. Who knew? The man only chuckled softly and asked intimately, really? Then when is Union going home to accompany brother? Hearing this, Bai Yunj's heart skipped a beat. The next day, Bai Yunj woke up very early. Although she did not sleep much, she was inexplicably energetic. As for the 3 members of the Qin family, because Bai Yunj had said last night that she did not like people knocking on the door to disturb her, they did not dare to go upstairs to look for her. They were afraid that Bai Yunj would find them clingy. Happy. Goo, you're so early. Qin Yu and Qin Luyen were both there. As a senior internet addict, Qin Lang found it difficult to wake up at 6 in the morning. Bai Yunj sat on the sofa and glanced around but did not see old Master Qin. Where's Grandpa? They're doing Tai Chi in the backyard. Qin Yu was used to it. Bai Yunj nodded and didn't say anything more. She started to play with her phone. After that, she saw Jian Shi's message. Jian Shi, I'm so angry. I'm so angry. Jian Shi, I knew that Hong Chongjin, that old thing, was the most despicable. Jian Shi, Shiba Inu biting rod. JPG, Bai Yunj. After a while, Bai Yunj replied. YGG, who is he? At this moment, Jian Shi, who was far away in Yun University's dormitory, was shocked when she saw the news. Although she felt that her teacher might really not know Hong Chongjin. But if Hong Chongjin knew about this, he would probably be angered to death. Jian Shi, one of the founders of the Qingchong Computing Center, Hong Chongjin. Bai Yunj glanced at the message and remembered that when she had checked the local computing organizations, there seemed to be such a computing center. They claimed that they would catch up with the development of the Computing Institute within 3 years. However, since they had such a claim, it proved that they were still inferior to the institute. Therefore, Bai Yunj did not pay much attention to it. YGG, why are you suddenly scolding him? Jian Shi, in his interview this month, he had a comment about the newbies in the industry. He was talking about you. Chapter 430. The 10 billion project this time had indeed made many people jealous. And the rise of a newcomer would definitely affect the interests of others. Therefore, the outside world was saying that was just a genius newcomer packaged by the Delaney Group. Hong Chongjin even took the lead in condemning people like her. Such opportunistic and powerless people would only tarnish the scientific research community. Bai Yunj finished searching for the relevant reports and chuckled in surprise. After all, in her previous life, Bai Yunj had Meng Liang as her mother, and her career in the scientific research community had always been smooth. In the eyes of others, Bai Yunj was born at the finish line. Others had to work 100 times harder to offset the educational resources Bai Yunj had from the moment she was born. However, what made people feel even more unreasonable was that the person who had this kind of educational resources was a genuine genius. In fact, she was several times more terrifying than her mother, Meng Liang, back then. However, when everyone saw that Meng Liang and her mother had shorter lives than the other, they sighed that the heavens were jealous of geniuses and that it was good to be mediocre. YGG, the mediocre are mediocre. Don't pay attention to these useless interviews. Jian Shi, okay, by the way, teacher, I heard that Hong Chongjin recently accepted a student. I think it's your Qing Zihuai. Actually, Hong Chongjin had said that he would not accept any personal students. However, who would have thought that news would spread in the past 2 days that Hong Chongjin had accepted Qing Zihuai as his student and even planned to groom him as his successor? Bai Yunj raised her eyebrows. She did not expect such a thing to happen. Qingchong Computing Center. Have you communicated with the Computing Institute? The middle-aged man walked out of the research lab and sized up Qing Zihuai in front of him. His tone was a little arrogant. He had no choice but to accept this Qing Zihuai because someone had come looking for him. Fortunately, he was indeed a little smart and would not embarrass him. I've already made it clear. I won't go to the Computing Institute anymore. After Qing Zihuai answered, he thought of Jian Shi, who had been accepted as a student. He unconsciously clenched his fists and warned himself silently. In the country, other than Zhong Xinglin, only Hong Chongjin could be considered one of the top figures in the computing field. Even if he was a rookie, he still couldn't compare to a veteran researcher like Hong Chongjin. His path would definitely be much easier than Jian Shi's. As for him, he would definitely regret not taking him in. A cold glint flashed across Qing Zihuai's eyes. That's good. Hong Chongjin laughed sarcastically. So now, we're just relying on Zhong Xinglin to hold on. Back then, the institute was still full of talents, but now, it's already half dead. A dark glint flashed across Qing Zihuai's eyes when he heard this. Teacher Hong, I heard that, there's a dig there. As expected. The smile on Hong Chongjin's face froze. Then, he sneered in disdain. Are you afraid that you won't die quickly enough? He dares to poach any kind of goods. Qing Zihuai could tell that Hong Chongjin didn't like it, so he didn't say anything. Seeing this, Hong Chongjin also glanced at Qing Zihuai and his tone became even more sarcastic. Don't tell me you also think that this is very powerful? But, both Marcus and Zhong Xinglin think highly of him. Before Qing Zihuai could finish speaking, he was interrupted coldly by Hong Chongjin. In this world, how can there be a genius who appears out of nowhere? They're just things packaged by capital. Chapter 431. Hong Chongjin glanced at him from the corner of his eye and seemed to have thought of something. His tone turned cold. By the way, you're also someone who has been there before. What do you think of the Computing Institute? Qing Zihuai sensed Hong Chongjin's deliberate probing and could only say, other than Elder Zhong, Professor C seems to be not bad too. Hong Chongjin snorted, arrogant and smug. Yes, Si Qingyan is all right. This Zhong Xinglin only taught Si Qingyan. He will be finished sooner or later. With that said, he smiled at Qing Zihuai. But the Qingchong Computing Center is different. In the past few years, a large number of talents have entered our center. It's just a matter of time before we surpass the Computing Institute. Learn well. In the future, my position will be left for you. Hearing this, a trace of light flashed past Qing Zihuai's eyes and he immediately said, Thank you, teacher. Hong Chongjin snorted and started working on the project again. Gu-er. Gu-er. Qin Lang called out to her softly. Bei Yunj regained her senses and looked at Qin Lang. What's wrong? It's Saturday today. Do you want to watch my competition with Grandpa? After Qin Lang asked, he looked at Bei Yunj nervously. Qin Lang had asked when old Master Qin was not around. He was afraid that Bei Yunj would not be able to make a choice in front of old Master Qin. No, I have something on. With that said, Qin Lang's eyes darkened slightly. He clenched his fists unnaturally and forced a smile. Okay. Gu-er, be careful on the road too. Qin Yu had an interview that he could not reject today and had just left. However, Qin Luyen was not in a hurry to go to work. He sat by the side and read the newspaper. He only glanced at that scene calmly and did not say anything. Soon, after old Master Qin returned, he changed his clothes and put on a hat. He grabbed Qin Lang and asked, I shouldn't be discovered like this, right? Qin Lang comforted him. No, no. How can anyone know you in my competition? Old Master Qin was speechless. He was also a reputable person, okay? Isn't Gu going? Hearing this, Qin Lang froze and smiled. Gu still has things to do. Don't stick to your granddaughter all day long. Brat, who am I doing this for? Old Master Qin slapped the back of Qin Lang's head and said angrily with an unhappy expression. None of his 3 grandsons were close to his precious granddaughter. He was just trying to help improve their relationship. All right. Let's go, or we'll be late for the competition. Qin Lang smiled, hiding the disappointment in his eyes. Actually, Qin Lang was supposed to follow his team members and set off from the base together. However, because Bai Yunj had returned yesterday, Qin Lang had applied for leave the day before the competition. However, not long after the two set off, Bai Yunj took her laptop from upstairs and was about to go to the computing institute when she found 2 entry tickets on the coffee table. Bai Yunj, were they planning to buy 2 folding chairs and squat outside to watch? Actually, Qin Lang didn't have to worry. He could enter with his face. What she was afraid of was that Qin Lang would walk backstage and the old master would only realize that he didn't have a ticket when he entered the front door. Thinking of this, Bai Yunj subconsciously pressed the space between her eyebrows and glanced at Qin Luyan, who was about to leave. What's wrong, Gu-er? Qin Luyan saw that Bai Yunj had something on and took the initiative to ask. Nothing. Bai Yunj thought for a moment, then went upstairs to put her laptop back and went out with the 2 tickets. According to the address on the tickets, Bai Yunj arrived at the venue in about half an hour. Chapter 432. Bai Yunj walked to the door and realized that this competition was indeed quite popular. The moment she looked up, she saw that most of the support on the field was for Qin Lang and his team. In fact, Bai Yunj could not find Old Master Qin for a while. Soon, Bai Yunj called Old Master Qin. Although the environment was a little noisy. Grandpa, did you go in? Huh? Are you talking about the competition venue? I went in. Grandpa realized that he didn't bring a ticket on the way, so he went backstage first. Alright, that's good. With that said, Bai Yunj was about to hang up when she heard Old Master Qin ask. Gu-er, where are you? Old Master Qin was stunned. When he heard the commotion on Bai Yunj's side, he could not help but ask, Gu-er, did you bring Grandpa a ticket? I didn't. Before Bai Yunj could finish speaking, a girl beside her screamed excitedly, Aw, Qin Lang. Look. Bai Yunj changed her words. I haven't gone in yet. That's good. Come backstage to find Grandpa. Grandpa doesn't know how to go to the audience seats alone. Hearing this, Bai Yunj answered without thinking. After hanging up the call, she glanced around and found that the screen in the sports square was playing the photos of the previous champions of the maps of the gods. Qin Lang was the face of Country A that appeared the most. From his cold and arrogant eyes to the occasional trace of high spirits, there was light in his eyes. This reminded Bai Yunj of the Qin Lang in her dream. Where did the glow in his eyes come from? There was only a lifeless look in his eyes. Especially after the original owner died, Qin Lang did not go to the club to be a coach anymore. Instead, he went to some mines to be a miner. In the end, in a dangerous accident, Qin Lang chose to give up his life for the high compensation. It was only after Qin Lang died that Qin Luyan and Qin Yu found out that after the original owner passed away, the beneficiaries of Qin Lang's death had been changed to them. However, the 2 brothers did not collect Qin Lang's death compensation. On the 7th day after Qin Lang's death, the Qin family was completely destroyed. Bai Yunj hid the darkness in her eyes as she scrolled through another number and called him. Miss Bai, how did you find the time to call me? The president of EG Corporation, Vic, almost stood up in excitement when he received Bai Yunj's call. Can I enter the competition venue on the maps of the gods? Bai Yunj thought for a moment and added, backstage. Sure. Wake thought of the hacker movie he watched last time, and his imagination suddenly went wild. Would it be faster for you to hack into the security system? Bai Yunj, no wonder he was Delaney's cousin. This was the first time she had heard such a request. Bai Yunj smiled patiently and said, if you like, I'll try to hack into your headquarters tonight. I don't have my laptop with me right now. Can I trouble you to help me? Wake suddenly sobered up, and immediately declined, "No, no, no, you'd better do your own thing." A few minutes later, when Pei Yunj walked to the backstage entrance, she saw an elite in a suit with a gold-plated admission card in his hand. "Excuse me, are you Miss Pei?" The young man sized up Pei Yunj in surprise. He did not expect the news from the headquarters that the person they wanted to receive with the highest treatment would be a young girl. Pei Yunj answered. Hearing this, the young man handed the entrance card to Pei Yunj. "This is for you." "What is this?" Chapter 433. Pei Yunj held it in her hand. She didn't think that an ordinary backstage employee card could be made so exquisitely. "This is the identity card that the headquarters said they would prepare for you. In the future, you can use this card to enter and exit any place under EG Corporation." After the young man finished speaking, he asked enthusiastically, "Do you need me to accompany you on a tour?" "No need, I'm here to look for someone." "Thank you." After Pei Yunj took the card, she went in to look for Old Master Qin. In the long corridor, Old Master Qin was stunned when he saw Pei Yunj enter. How did you get in?" Pei Yunj's eyes flickered. She held Old Master Qin's hand and said lazily, "There was no one at the door, so I came in." There was such a situation? Old Master Qin's eyes widened, but before he could think further, Pei Yunj brought him to the venue. However, as soon as they arrived, they heard Old Master Qin cursing. How could the venue be so noisy? Couldn't they consider the feelings of the old man? Pei Yunj seemed to have seen Old Master Qin's anger. She smiled and leaned closer to say, "Grandpa, you're dressed too young today." They didn't notice. When Old Master Qin heard this, his unhappiness was instantly swept away and he generously forgave these young people. Pei Yunj and Old Master Qin sat in the first row according to Qin Lang's instructions. They were also very close to the stage. At this moment, the moment the two teams went on stage, the atmosphere in the venue was ignited. Screams rose and fell one after another. Fortunately, Pei Yunj had the foresight to cover Old Master Qin's ears and calmly wait for the enthusiasm of the crowd to dissipate. 69 school bag, and this scene happened to fall into the eyes of one of the team members on the stage. F***CK, isn't the little sister below too cute? Did you see? When she screamed just now, she immediately covered the ears of the old man next to her. Hearing this, another team member who was drinking water glanced coldly at Pei Yunj and Old Master Qin and sneered disdainfully. "Didn't you see? That woman's clothes are all unbranded, and the older one beside her has a jacket that costs a few million." That person's gaze became even more contemptuous and disdainful. Women nowadays are really willing to do anything for money. It can't be. That girl looked too beautiful. She's even prettier than the movie queen I saw last time. Why not? She'll probably sleep with me as long as I give her money. I'll get your phone number later. The opposing team's discussion was not soft, and Qin Lang could hear it clearly. Unconsciously, his gaze turned cold. But after that, when Qin Lang turned his head and saw the people in the front row, he instantly knew who the people in the opposite team were talking about. Instantly, Qin Lang squeezed the mineral water bottle in his hand so hard that it made a cracking sound. Blue veins popped out on the back of his bony hand. Before the team members next to him could react, Qin Lang had already taken a step forward and walked to the opposite team. The person who spoke rudely just now heard the commotion behind him. Before he could turn around, he was suddenly kicked in the butt. His entire body fell forward. "Are you courting death?" For the first time, everyone saw that Qin Lang's eyes were filled with coldness, and his viciousness was difficult to conceal. This scene caused the atmosphere to freeze. The referee, coach, and the rest of the people felt their blood turn cold. What was wrong with this young master? This was AF** King live broadcast. Why did he hit someone at this time? Chapter 434. He went up and kicked Xiao Zhi's butt. Did he think that their team was developing too well? In the industry, other than Qin Lang himself, Xiaozhi had the most female fans. What was he trying to do? As expected, Xiaozhi's fans immediately shouted when they saw their idol being kicked in the butt. Qin Lang's fans were also stunned. They did not know why their brother Lang had gone crazy today. Qin Lang, are you crazy? Xiaozhi's handsome face was about to contort. Qin Lang's teammates did not know what attitude to maintain for a moment. Wasn't brother Lang playing too fiercely today? Usually, no matter how Xiaozhi plucked the fur from the tigers, but Qin Lang would not care. Why did brother Lang suddenly go berserk today? You should be glad that you're still competing. Otherwise, would I have given you the chance to stand up? Qin Lang sneered. His beautiful eyes were filled with a cold light. His silver hair was lazy and untamed as he looked down at him from above. Xiaozhi was humiliated by Qin Lang in public. His face turned green and red and his eyes were filled with resentment. He gritted his teeth. Just you wait. As the competition had not started yet, there would not be any punishment for the conflict before the competition. However, it would definitely be on the headlines later. Qin Lang sneered lazily and then kicked his knee. What are you waiting for? If you say any more dirty words to me, after the competition, do you think this thing will be ruined? Xiaozhi was just about to scold Qin Lang, but when he looked up, he met Qin Lang's cold, half-smiling eyes. This was even scarier than Qin Lang. Suddenly, Xiaozhi realized that he seemed to have said something about the girl below the stage. After that, Qin Lang's mood changed drastically. Chapter 9, when the competition officially started. The moment the two sides went on stage, they attracted the attention of countless people. As for the sudden incident just now, it had been temporarily forgotten due to the enthusiasm of the competition. However, this competition, until the second and third round, people could not help but be puzzled. Why did Qin Lang only go on stage once and use the substitutes for the rest? I'm convinced. Are there people in the esports scene who are starting to act like big shots? Looking down on other opponents so much? The female fan who was supporting Xiaozhi sneered sarcastically. However, Qin Lang's fans, who had been quietly watching the match, were instantly unhappy. Maybe the neighbor next door is too weak, so brother Lang wants to give way. Look at the points. If brother Lang doesn't appear in the next few rounds, it doesn't seem like there will be any changes, right? Being a noob is the original sin, Qin Lang's fans chimed in one after another. Instantly, the faces of the few people who were being sarcastic earlier changed. At this moment, when Bai Yunj heard the voices from the last few rows, she seemed to have thought of something and her eyes darkened. Was it because of the hand? Before Bai Yunj could think, the fans in the back rows suddenly screamed. The next moment, Bai Yunj glanced to the side and saw the usually unruly and lazy boy wearing the team uniform. His eyes were lowered, and he carefully carried snacks and milk drinks in his arms as he walked towards her. Qin Lang, who had always been the image of an arrogant young master in everyone's hearts, was actually able to form a relationship with an explosive boyfriend at this moment. It even made people want to touch his signature silver hair and furry head. Ah, why do I feel like brother Lang is flirting with me today? Chapter 435. But in the next second, everyone saw Qin Lang slowly bend down on one knee in front of a young girl and place the snacks and drinks in her arms. Qin Lang unconsciously touched the back of his neck lazily and chuckled softly. His youthful eyes curved and he inadvertently revealed a careless ruffian look. Third brother couldn't go out at the moment, so I searched for some backstage for you. Old Master Qin, who was only handed a bottle of iced red tea, was speechless. The fans below the stage were about to explode. This was the reason why you didn't compete well? Did you not want your girlfriend fans anymore? Announcing your relationship on the spot? Bai Yunj looked at Qin Lang's hand and nodded. Enough, thank you. After hesitating for a moment, she added, third brother. Hearing this, Qin Lang raised the corners of his eyes and the light in his eyes deepened. The corners of his lips curled up and he squatted lazily in front of Bei Yunj. He reached out and patted her head. "You're welcome. Third brother will give Gu a trophy later, okay?" At this moment, no one knew what the cameraman was thinking, but he directly turned the big screen camera to Bei Yunj's side. The intimate actions of the two of them, as well as Qin Lang's change from his usual arrogance to gentleness, made people suspect that this was the prelude to announcing their relationship. The venue was filled with screams. Qin Lang's team members were so angry that they were contorted. Why? They were all gaming dogs. Why did their captain have an overly beautiful girlfriend behind their backs? Isn't this too much? We were playing a competition up there, but he disappeared after one round. Or did he go down to take care of his girlfriend? Don't you think what's even more F***king outrageous is that those snacks are mine? They're mine. A fat boy roared sadly. It was too hurtful. Captain usually said that he should eat less to prevent himself from getting high when he was old. But what about him? He blatantly took his snacks and gave them to his girlfriend? Was he still considered human? When everyone heard this, they took a closer look and realized that the snacks they brought were already lying quietly on Bei Yunj's lap. The team members looked disgusted. F***ck, Qin dog, die. Wait. Don't you think that girl looks familiar? It can't be. You can also meet such a beautiful sister. In a dream? The team member restrained his urge to beat him up and said with a fake smile, "I think she's Brother Lang's sister." Immediately, everyone on the stage quieted down and stared blankly at Bei Yunj below the stage. They suddenly understood why Qin Lang doted on his sister so much. Isn't my sister a little too pretty? Damn, he's so good-looking. Isn't his looks too amazing? How did the captain's family grow up? Isn't she too beautiful? The men stared blankly at Bei Yunj, unable to say anything nice. He could only say that she was beautiful. In the fourth round, Qin Lang went up again and widened the gap between the two teams. The audience cheered joyfully. During the intermission, Xiao Ji and the others were still discussing. "Captain, I've received some news." One of the team members looked around cautiously and said to Xiao Ji, "Something seems to have happened to Qin Lang's hand. My friend saw him go for a checkup. Do you know what happened?" A glint flashed across Xiao Ji's eyes as he asked. "The doctor is too tight-lipped, so we can't dig out any information. But look, he didn't even dare to compete today. There must be something wrong." Chapter 436. When Xiao Ji heard this, he didn't say anything. But his heart was restless. If Qin Lang really had a problem with his hand, then Qin Lang's team would lose its backbone. And he would have the chance to lead his team to become the #1 team in the country. Thinking of this, Xiao Ji subconsciously suppressed his excitement and tried to keep himself rational. Let's wait and see. Qin Lang just got off the stage for that girl. When Xiao Ji said this, the members subconsciously looked at Bei Yunj and thought of the scene just now. This was indeed not in line with Qin Lang's usual character. Just as the atmosphere was silent, Xiao Ji looked up and happened to catch a glimpse of Bei Yunj walking into the backstage. A strange light flashed across his eyes as he watched Bei Yunj walk inside. He just patted his team member's shoulder. "You go back first. I know how to deal with this matter." After that, Xiao Ji caught up with Bei Yunj's back. The disdain and sarcasm in his eyes grew stronger. He really didn't expect that this woman would dare to sneak backstage. However, at this moment, Xiao Ji had already made up his mind. Since Qin Lang cared so much about this girl, what if he touched her? With Qin Lang's care for this girl, he would definitely want to end the competition as soon as possible and find trouble with him. In the next round, Qin Lang would definitely play personally. But if Qin Lang was injured, where did he get the courage to continue playing personally? The smile on Xiao Ji's face became even more obvious. If Qin Lang was really injured, then he was also looking forward to the day when Qin Lang would get out of the esports scene. Thinking of this, Xiaoji had already followed Bei Yunj to the elevator on the first floor. After seeing Bei Yunj enter, Xiaoji immediately followed her into the elevator. At this moment, Bei Yunj glanced at Xiaoji indifferently. Her red lips curled up, but there was no smile in her eyes. She casually pressed the fourth floor. As for Xiaoji, after looking at the number of floors that Bei Yunj pressed, he also chuckled. The fourth floor is the management level. Miss, do you know someone from the management level? Bei Yunj didn't even look at him. She just waited quietly. Soon, they reached the fourth floor. However, as soon as the elevator door opened, Xiaoji quickly stopped Bei Yunj. Miss, are you not going to give me any face? Xiaoji's gloomy eyes stared at her as he laughed. Sir, are you not going to move aside? There was no emotion in Bei Yunj's tone, but there was a hint of impatience in his half-smile. How long have you known Qin Lang? Qin Lang hasn't had a woman by his side for so many years. Today, he's trying to please you in public. Xiaoji stared at her, afraid that he would miss any expression. However, does Qin Lang know that you know anyone in the management team? Seeing the elevator door close again, Bei Yunj snorted. Her leisurely tone was filled with a terrifying coldness. Don't you understand human language? Xiaoji's eyes suddenly darkened. He looked at Bei Yunj in front of him and suddenly smiled. You are indeed qualified to hook up with Qin Lang, but you don't have to focus only on Qin Lang. My fans in the industry aren't much less than Qin Lang's. He has the Qin family behind him, and I have the Xiao family behind me. As soon as he finished speaking, Xiaoji approached Bei Yunj step by step. He put one hand on the wall of the elevator and the other hand wanted to lift Bei Yunj's chin. But the next moment. However, the corners of Bei Yunj's lips curled up and she turned her face away quickly, causing Xiaoji to miss. You should be called Xiaoji, right? Bei Yunj had seen Xiaoji in the original owner's dream. Chapter 437. Xiaoji. The person who later replaced Qin Lang's position. Another time, he deliberately made things difficult for the original owner in front of Qin Lang. He was beaten up by Qin Lang and was also admitted to the hospital. And later, Qin Lang's leg was almost broken by the Xiao family. You know me? Xiaoji was in a good mood when he heard this. He thought that his popularity was not much worse than Qin Lang's. Yes. Bei Yunj's eyes curved. Just like in her previous life, the original owner introduced herself to Xiaoji and repeated word by word. I'm Qin Lang's sister, Bei Yunj. What was different was, Bei Yunj's eyes were filled with coldness that was hard to detect. And Xiaoji was not like in her previous life, who led a group of people to mock her and deliberately embarrassed her in public. Her pupils constricted and she gritted her teeth. You're his sister? Xiaoji sneered. Isn't that even easier? I want to see if Qin Lang will go crazy when his sister is raped by the enemy. Hearing this, unlike ordinary people, Bei Yunj did not show any panic in this claustrophobic and quiet elevator. Instead, the corners of her lips curled up. Okay. Don't worry about others first. Bei Yunj slowly lifted her long hair, bit the rubber band on her wrist, and tied it up easily. There are still 10 minutes to the competition, right? When Xiaoji heard this and saw Bei Yunj's posture, he could not help but laugh sarcastically. Did this woman think that she could beat him with her thin arms and legs? Ridiculous. I advise you to be sensible. You don't want to be watched by others what we do in the elevator, do you? Xiaoji deliberately threatened and then reached out to touch Bei Yunj. But in the next moment, before Xiaoji could react, Bei Yunj suddenly kicked him in the abdomen. In the elevator, an unbearable cry of pain sounded. The veins on Xiaoji's forehead popped out. His expression was painful and cold sweat broke out. What's the point of doing it in the elevator? The girl suddenly laughed. Her lazy and clear voice sounded very flirtatious, but at this moment, when it fell into the man's ears, it made his heart turn cold. You! Xiaoji's heart gradually filled with fear, but before he could say anything, he saw Bei Yunj open the elevator door. Shortly after. Before Xiaoji could react, Bei Yunj grabbed him by the back of his collar and dragged him towards the door. Xiaoji was choked so tightly that he couldn't breathe. His whole face was red, but no matter how hard he struggled, he couldn't break free from Bei Yunj's hands. She was easily dragged away by Bei Yunj. Cough cough. You, cough. Xiaoji opened his mouth with great difficulty. His throat tightened again, and he coughed violently. After that, just as Xiaoji felt that he was about to lose consciousness, Bei Yunj suddenly threw him down. The two of them went to the sink in the public restroom. Xiaoji had long been traumatized by this girl. You, what are you trying to do? Didn't you tell me to be tactful? Bei Yunj chuckled unhurriedly and walked towards Xiaoji. When Xiaoji saw this, his heart almost jumped to his throat. He almost didn't hesitate to shout, "Help, help!" But soon, Bei Yunj grabbed him by the collar with one hand, pressed him to the side of the mop basin, and turned the faucet to the maximum. Xiaoji wanted to call for help, but when he opened his mouth, he drank a few mouthfuls of water and choked. The person behind him held his neck and didn't give him any chance to move at all. Until Xiaoji was about to die. Chapter 438. Only then did the hand behind his back loosen. At this moment, Xiaoji fell to the ground from the edge of the mop basin. He was drenched and in a sorry state. Unconsciously, he heard Bei Yunj's soft laughter. He looked up and saw her standing by the sink, washing her hands slowly. Your father is involved in the CT project, right? As his son, shouldn't you remind him not to mess with the Qin family? Bei Yunj's words rang out slowly, but inexplicably, they sent a chill down his spine. How did Bei Yunj know about this? In fact, this project was a collaboration between the Qin family and other companies over the past 5 years. However, the Xiao family and the Qin family had always been at odds. The Xiao family had long planned to bring down the Qin family. Therefore, they were prepared to take advantage of this collaboration with the Qin family and interfere with the project. They wanted the Qin family to fall completely and never be able to rise again. Before Xiaoji could feel guilty, Bei Yunj had already walked up to him. She lazily sprinkled the wet water on Xiaoji's head and smiled condescendingly. Otherwise, the next person to lie in your position will be him. As soon as she finished speaking, Bei Yunj's cell phone rang in her pocket. She pulled out a tissue, wiped her hands dry, and took out her cell phone. It was the person in charge of the competition that she had just met. Bei Yunj saw this and glanced at Xiaoji. In an instant, Xiaoji's scalp went numb and he didn't dare to say a word. Bei Yunj saw this scene, sneered softly, and walked out of the door. Coincidentally, at this moment, the young man she had just met Bei Yunj in the corridor. Miss Pei. The person in charge was a little surprised. He adjusted his glasses and said, I didn't expect you to be here. I just passed by and didn't seem to find you. Yes, I was followed by a strange man just now. So I went to the washroom. Hearing this. Potato. The person in charge suddenly became nervous. What? Here? Someone actually dared to follow backstage. Wasn't that too presumptuous? Yes, he's still in the washroom. If you have time, why don't you take care of it? Bei Yunj nodded and smiled. This made the person in charge feel a little strange, but after thinking about it, Bei Yunj would not lie to him. He immediately called the security guard over and got someone to call the police. Miss Pei, if you encounter such a situation again, it's better to call the police. The person in charge reminded. Yes, thank you. Bei Yunj changed the topic and asked, so, why did you ask me to come here? Yes, that's right. The person in charge smiled gently. The headquarters are asking if you are free. The founder of EG Group, Mr. Vic, wants to meet you during the next competition. When he said this, the person in charge was also very surprised. He did not expect Bai Yunj to know the big boss of their headquarters. No, I won't come next time. Bai Yunj refused without any hesitation. The manager's smile froze. Then what are you doing this time? Who would have thought that there would be a day when their big boss would be rejected? My family came to watch the competition and forgot to bring the tickets. After Bai Yunj finished speaking, she said goodbye to the person in charge and left. At this moment, the person in charge was also in a hurry to deal with the person in the washroom, so he did not think much about it. However, the person in charge waited for the security guard at the door. When the security guard went in and found the suspicious man who had followed them. Chapter 439. The person in charge's face froze. This was the first time he had encountered such a situation. But at this moment, Xiao Zhi's eyes lit up when he saw the person in charge. He gritted his teeth and said, "CEO Wu, a woman deliberately beat me up just now. Go and catch her. I will definitely make them pay for this." The person in charge took a deep breath. "Do you know, what's her name?" "Bai Yunj. She's Qin Lang's sister, CEO Wu. Qin Lang must have ordered her to do this." However, before Xiao Zhi could finish speaking, the person in charge had already turned around and instructed the others. "Let Xiao Zhi's team use a substitute. Send Xiao Zhi to the hospital first. Don't spread the news about anything else." Xiao Zhi looked at him in disbelief. "CEO Wu, what do you mean?" "Xiao Zhi, you can provoke anyone but that person." The person in charge could not help but frown. He glanced at Xiao Zhi and left. This alienation made Xiao Zhi's heart turn cold. What did CEO Wu mean just now? CEO Wu did not say that when he had a conflict with Qin Lang previously. But now, he actually told him not to provoke Bai Yunj. But wasn't this Bai Yunj the real good-for-nothing heiress that the internet said? What did CEO Wu mean? The next round of the competition began. The atmosphere in the venue did not diminish. It was exciting. However, what was very surprising was that Xiao Zhi actually used a substitute at the last minute. Damn, both captains used substitutes. What does this mean? Everyone was shocked. At this moment, Xiao Zhi's fans said arrogantly, "Our brother Zhi wants the competition to be fair. If Qin Lang can use a substitute, why can't our brother Zhi? Yo, my brother Lang got first place. Why didn't your brother Zhi get first place too?" Qin Lang's fans, who had a feud with Xiao Zhi's fans for a long time, immediately retorted. "You!" Xiao Zhi's fans were furious. "What's so great about that? Didn't he enter the industry a year earlier than my brother Zhi? If my brother Zhi entered the industry earlier, would Qin Lang even have a chance?" Qin Lang's fans laughed. "What can we do? My brother Lang is a year younger than your brother Zhi. If that's the case, your brother Zhi won't be able to get first place even when he retires, right?" These words. Xiao Zhi's fans almost fought with Qin Lang's fans on the spot. However, Qin Lang had too many fans. Until the competition ended. As expected, Qin Lang's team won the match. But then, everyone realized that something was wrong. Although Qin Lang had found a substitute for the competition. But at least Qin Lang was there when she received the award. Why did Xiao Zhi disappear completely after finding a substitute? Perhaps the host was afraid that the fans would think too much, so during the award ceremony, he added a lucky draw segment. This allowed the audience to log into the maps of the gods and enter the lucky draw. As for the audience members who won the lottery, 300 of them would receive virtual coins as a reward. One audience member could go up on stage and hug the contestant. This instantly ignited the enthusiasm of the fans below the stage, and they all participated in the lucky draw. At this moment, Bai Yunj glanced at the big screen on the stage. Gradually, the IDs of the winners of the virtual currency awards were displayed. However, Old Master Qin was very interested in this. Help me take a look. How should I draw it? As soon as Bai Yunj heard this, she immediately went back to participate in the event on behalf of Old Master Qin. Unfortunately, she didn't get any prizes. Old Master Qin was instantly disappointed. Chapter 440. Grandpa, it's okay. How much do you want? I'll transfer it to you. Bai Yunj took out her cell phone, intending to transfer the virtual coins to Old Master Qin. When she helped the headquarters of the maps of the gods solve the bug, the system automatically sent her a lot of virtual coins. As for how many there were, Bai Yunj did not count how many zeros there were. Unexpectedly, Old Master Qin's eyes lit up. He immediately leaned in and said, "Goover, you should go for the lucky draw too." Bai Yunj was speechless. It made no difference whether she participated in this kind of lucky draw or not. "Grandpa, I have a lot. You have to spend money to buy it." Old Master Qin disagreed. "This can't be compared to the happiness you get without spending money. Listen to Grandpa and do the lucky draw. Don't worry. Grandpa told your fortune last year. You have a great fortune. You'll definitely win the prize." Bai Yunj was speechless. Was this how a great fortune should be used? Bai Yunj's lips twitched, but she did not go against Old Master Qin's wishes. She also did the lucky draw. After all, it was a waste of time to participate in this kind of lucky draw. However, a few seconds later, Bai Yunj saw a special light appear on the screen and she had an ominous feeling. The next moment, a line of words appeared on her cell phone screen. "Congratulations. You have won the special prize." Bai Yunj's breath froze. Immediately afterward, everyone suddenly saw the ID of the special prize appear on the screen at the same time. Special prize ID 1. This line of words was bigger and clearer than the one beside the winning virtual coins. All of a sudden, the entire audience froze and their minds were in a mess. Is this a high-quality imitation ID? Maps of the gods, where did this high-quality imitation come from? Hence, the atmosphere became even weirder in an instant. Immediately afterward, Unine book. Screams could be heard in the venue. Is this going to break the dimension? Are they going on stage to receive the prize? The special prize was to go on stage and hug the contestant. Everyone who was reminded was so excited that they almost exploded. All of a sudden, after being chosen for this prize, they even felt that the real winner was the pro player on stage. Boo-hoo, I suspect that this is a covert operation. The competition team deliberately wants to reward the contestant. Come out quickly. I've long wanted to see what it looks like. In the first row. Bai Yunj. Old Master Qin approached his granddaughter to ask, "Gu, did you win the virtual coins?" "No." Bai Yunj immediately logged out of the maps of the gods and sent a message to the person in charge of the competition. Old Master Qin was greatly disappointed when he heard this. "You didn't? That's such a pity." Bai Yunj was speechless. "It's okay. We can still buy more. Anyway, Grandpa has money." I think to be. Bai Yunj paused. "It's all right. He's very good. I heard that he's still young." Old Master Qin could not help but sigh enviously. "How good would it be if he were my grandson? We need someone to do research at home." Upon finishing his words, Old Master Qin also looked at the stage, wanting to know what this person looked like. However, everyone waited for a while. The MC received a notice and smiled at everyone. "I'm sorry. Well, this is an internal mistake. Let's redraw the special prize." Hearing that, Chapter 441. He was definitely at the scene. It was just that he refused to show up. "No. This award is for..." Instantly, the people below the stage began to jeer. Yes. There are two good-looking people on stage. Our brother Lang is so good-looking. Give us some face, Kang, our brother Lang, I beg you. The female audience on the stage was louder than the other. The other audience and players could not help but laugh. On the stage, Qin Lang's team members also sighed. I really didn't expect to be so close to a cultured person in my life. Back then, he was also a thorn in his teacher's side. Now, watching him compete, this feeling was really good. A cultured person also has to sit down and watch us compete. A few team members teased. However, Qin Lang sneered. Don't think about it. It's not your turn to sit here even if you play professionally. Wake up. As soon as he finished speaking, the team members wanted to refute, but they suddenly remembered that the first place in the maps of the gods had yet to be broken. A scholar should act like a scholar. Why should he play games? However, in fact, there were many highly educated players in the industry. For example, Qin Lang was from the mathematics department of Yun University. Could it be that we are being looked down upon, so she is unwilling to come and receive the award? The team members trembled. This segment was supposed to be filled with love. Usually, the ones who won the prize were lovely girls. But this time, a big shot actually won the prize. In the face of everyone's jeering, the host's voice was still sweet. She smiled slightly. I know that everyone's enthusiasm for this lucky draw winner may surpass the players on the stage. But it's okay. If everyone really likes it, you can pay more attention to the works. Everyone was speechless. What a ruthless woman. The works of? Was that something that humans could understand? In the end, the second special prize was won by a delicate and pretty little girl. She went on stage and hugged Qin Lang first. Then, she ran down with a red face. When the competition officially ended, on the way back, many people hit on old Master Qin. You are. I like you so much. Old Master Qin was speechless. Bei Yunj was speechless. Immediately, the girl's boyfriend pulled her back. Are you stupid? It's a woman, and I heard that she's quite young. When the girl heard that, she immediately reacted. She looked at old Master Qin apologetically. I'm sorry. I was wrong. I'm fine. Old Master Qin waved at her and quickly left with Bei Yunj, entering the backstage. Backstage. Qin Lang brought Old Master Qin and Old Master Qin into the lounge. The team members greeted Old Master Qin obediently. Then, they couldn't help but look at Bei Yunj. Wasn't this too beautiful? If it wasn't for the old man, he really wanted to talk to his boss's sister. At this moment, Old Master Qin saw that the boys were all very polite and didn't notice that they were all secretly looking at Bei Yunj. His prejudice against the players in the game was mostly dispelled. Not bad. Work hard. Old Master Qin had never been the gentle type towards boys. He only nodded his head calmly to show his approval. I will, Grandpa Qin. Several team members couldn't help but nod. Chapter 442. Yes, this is my granddaughter, Bei Yunj. Old Master Qin said proudly. Bei Yunj glanced at the people in front of her and nodded at them. Hello. The members were speechless. She was simply a girl who looked beautiful. Even her voice was so pleasant to the ears. Okay, I'm good. The members nodded. They finally understood why their boss was so happy without a girlfriend. With a younger sister who looked like this, why would he need a girlfriend? He could even shorten his lifespan. Qin Lang noticed the menacing gazes of his team members and immediately went forward to grab the back of their collars and flung them back. The one who made the most mistakes this time still has the cheek to say that. The celebration party is over. Go back and practice for 2 hours. As for the two of you, how did you brag to me last time? You wanted Xiaoji to go home and farm in 10 minutes? Qin Lang slapped their heads. One of them was almost sent home to farm by Xiao Ji, while the other gave Xiao Ji his head twice. After being lectured in public, none of the team members dared to say anything more. Old Master Qin also realized that even if his grandson played games, he did not seem like he was doing something improper. Instead, it made people feel that he was youthful and hot-blooded. The cheers in the arena were the best proof. After returning home, Old Master Qin was very happy. On the other hand, Qin Lang sat in the front passenger seat and kept touching his right hand. Bei Yunj happened to see this scene from the corner of her eye. Soon, she looked away, the meaning in her eyes unclear. Even after she was reborn, the Qin family did not seem to have deviated from its original development. Until now, only Old Master Qin had been saved by Bei Yunj. Beautiful, however, Qin Lang's hand injury. Qin Yu's disfigurement by fans because he was framed for having a crush on a child, and Qin Lian's entanglement with that woman were still happening. After returning to the old mansion, the moment Bei Yunj entered, she did not expect to see Huashidu sitting by the sofa with Qin Lian on either side. The atmosphere was tense. Why was he here? Shidu, you're finally here. Old Master Qin seemed to have known that Huashidu would come. Yes, Grandpa Qin and Yinyun went to watch the competition today. Huashidu walked over and helped Old Master Qin sit on the sofa. Yes. Even though Ah Lang is a professional gamer, he didn't embarrass the Qin family. Old Master Qin's eyes were filled with pride. That's only natural. Gaming competitions are no different from other competitions. Huashidu chatted with Old Master Qin, but from the corner of his eye, he kept paying attention to the silent young lady beside him. However, then, before Huashidu could speak to Bei Yunj, the young lady in front of him suddenly stood up. Grandpa, I'm a little sleepy. I'm going to sleep first. When Old Master Qin heard this, he thought that Bei Yunj was tired from watching the competition with him. He immediately said, Okay. Grandpa will get someone to call you downstairs for dinner later. No need. I'll come down in an hour, Bei Yunj said with a smile. Dinner time in the Qin family's old mansion had always been 7:30 p.m. It was exactly 6:30. All right, go and sleep for a while. Old Master Qin nodded, not noticing Huashidu's expression at all. Okay. After Bei Yunj went upstairs. Chapter 443. After going upstairs, Bei Yunj received a message. She opened the chat list and saw that it was a screenshot sent to her by Tich and the others. As for the content of the screenshot, it was Hong Chongjin, who had been causing a commotion recently. After mentioning Bei Yunj, he wrote another essay. It was called The Capitalist's Plaything. As expected, the protagonist of Hong Chongjin's essay, which was filled with hatred for evil, was Bei Yunj. Tich, teacher, does this person have a grudge against you? Jasmine, this person is really tasteless. When Tich and I went online, we saw that his students had posted a translated version of it on the foreign web. Jasmine, but it's okay. Tich and I have already scolded him on behalf of teacher. When Bei Yunj saw these messages, she thought for a moment and quickly replied. Have you completed the task that I assigned to you last time? Tich and Jasmine, who were far away in country were speechless. Why did her teacher place more importance on them than her own gossip? Tich, it's done. Jasmine, +1, okay. I'll take care of the rest. Don't worry. Indeed, Bei Yunj did not expect Hong Chongjin to be so playful at his age. Soon, Bei Yunj sent a message to Marcus. Qingchong Computing Center. Save the book. Hong Chongjin looked at the internet. Other than his good friends, even the other netizens liked and shared his post, supporting his statement. There was a hint of pride in his eyes. He clicked on the comments and continued to scroll down. I've long felt that there was a problem. A month ago, she was someone who I had never heard of. The moment she stepped out of the industry, she was involved in a research project worth 10 billion yuan. After that, she fixed a bug for Example Corporation. Isn't this too much of a coincidence? It's worthy of a conspiracy theory. Since she's so amazing, why isn't there any news of her winning the Busaka Prize? They didn't even invite her to participate, right? Huh, you guys don't know, right? She even went to watch the Maps of the Gods competition today. Everyone was shouting her name. Those who didn't know would think that she was an idol. If you want to be a scientific genius, you have to see if you have the capital. Professor Hong dares to speak the truth. Like. Professor Hong is too straightforward. Seeing these comments, Hong Chongjin didn't have time to feel complacent. Suddenly, he flipped to the next post. Research Institute, Zhongxinglin, you really think you're a plaything? Qingchong Computing Center, Hong Chongjin, published a headline article, The Plaything of Capitalists, in an instant. Hong Chongjin's expression changed. He didn't expect that Zhong Xinglin would dare to criticize him so directly on the internet. This Zhong Xinglin. Hong Chongjin gritted his teeth and clicked on Zhong Xinglin's repost with anger. However, he discovered that almost no one was on his side. There was even a familiar ID in the front row of the hot comments. Our nation's Medical Research Institute, thank you very much. The medical testing machine was developed last month. The first machine has entered the testing stage. I believe that more patients will be treated in the near future. When this comment came out, many netizens were shocked. So how much trouble did he cause in the last month? The Delaney 10 billion project, the Maps of the Gods bug, and even a computerized medical device? Is it very impressive to make a machine? What kind of contrarian is the upstairs poster? The medical machines used by our nation's Medical Research Institute are all top-notch medical machines. Chapter 444. Hong Chongjin's face was distorted. He didn't expect that even Stephen would come and interfere. One had to know that if these research institutes dared to take sides, how could they not have instructions from the higher-ups? At this moment. It was also because of Zhong Xinglin and the Our Nation's Medical Institute's statements that the rumors from a while ago gradually subsided. After all, this industry was very far from ordinary people like them, and it was not something they should worry about. Besides, even the top computing expert in the country, Zhong Xinglin, was speaking up for her now. It was really hard to say who was right and who was wrong. At the Qin family's old residence. After eating downstairs, Bei Yunj went upstairs quickly. Qin Lang could not help but be puzzled. Is there a lot of homework recently? The man beside her answered carelessly. His eyes were lowered, looking lazy and light, but the corners of his upturned eyes were charming. Gu is really hard-working. Right? Don't you know Hung does homework the best? Qin Yu said. In the past, Qin Lang was also a student of Hengda. Qin Yu turned around and asked, Master Du, does Gu often do homework after school when she's with you? Grandpa Qin, I'll go upstairs and rest for a while. Okay. Old Master Qin immediately said, Shidu, your room is the first one on the right corridor. Qin Lang nodded, feeling very relieved. However, the moment he finished speaking, the man who had not spoken much suddenly stood up. However, he did not expect the room to be bright when the door was pushed open. Huashidu's pale-colored eyes darkened. His well-defined hand was still on the door handle calmly. At the same time. Sorry to trouble you, Grandpa. After Huashidu went upstairs. He was not in a hurry to find the little girl. Instead, he pushed open the door of the guest room and planned to take a shower first. Bei Yunj was about to get out of bed when she realized that she was wearing a very cool halter dress. There was a brown teddy bear on the bedside table. In the next moment, Bei Yunj, who had just taken a shower and was sitting by the bed with her laptop, froze when she heard the noise. She instantly understood why this guest room was so clean. Because this was prepared for Huashidu. Huashidu went forward and reached out his hand playfully. His slender index finger poked her head under the silk blanket. Why did you run to your brother's bed? Big brother, go out for a while. I'll fix this bed for you. After Pei Yunj finished speaking calmly, she did not expect the bed to suddenly sink. Pei Yunj heard footsteps at the door. She immediately grabbed the teddy bear on the bedside table and covered herself with the quilt. This was what Hwashidu saw when he walked in. The man's thin lips raised a light arc, and even the usual lazy peach blossom eyes overflowed with the light of a smile. Pei Yunj, this man was definitely doing it on purpose. Not long after, Hwashidu sat beside her. No need. Yunyun didn't even talk to me when I came over today. Hwashidu's thin red lips curled up. His usual lazy eyes were filled with a seductive smile. It's just nice now. Only Yunyun and I can have a good chat. Pei Yunj composed herself and slowly poked her head out of the silk blanket. But she didn't want to. When she looked up, she almost leaned into Hwashidu's chest and smelled the man's pleasant and cold scent. Pei Yunj calmly covered her head with the blanket and moved back. What do you want to talk about? Chapter 445. Hwashidu looked at the fruits on the table and took them naturally. His well-defined hands slowly peeled the fruit. His tone was frivolous and he had a casual smile on his face. However, his posture was extremely indulgent as he coaxed her. Let's talk about our little ancestor. What's going on? Did this man know how easy it was for others to misunderstand him when he spoke like this? I'm fine. Yes, I'm not good. I can't sleep without Yunyun around. After Hwashidu finished speaking, Pei Yunj looked up and noticed that there was a faint bruise under the man's beautiful eyes. Indeed, he did not sleep well. This thought flashed through Pei Yunj's mind. In the next moment, Pei Yunj subconsciously reached out and gently touched the faint bruise under the man's peach blossom eyes. She did not notice the heartache in her heart. The man did not say a word or remind her. He only looked at the little girl who was touching his face with his dark eyes. Did you stay up all night yesterday? Pei Yunj asked. Yes. The man's tone was still natural, and his thin lips curled into a lazy smile. Then can't you take care of yourself? After Pei Yunj touched his face, she felt that this man's skin was really good. She had never seen him take care of his skin usually. With this thought in mind, Pei Yunj almost followed her thoughts and pinched him again. Seeing the little girl reluctantly retract her hand, the darkness in Hwashidu's eyes faded a little. The corners of his lips curled up. Yes, I'll listen to Yunyun. Pei Yunj looked at the man's gaze and shrank back into the blanket unnaturally. Why do you listen to me? Her voice became softer and softer. Unexpectedly, the man suddenly chuckled and slowly leaned closer. His gaze was fixed and his voice was extremely low and sexy. Why do you think, Yunyun? For a moment, all of Pei Yunj's rationality seemed to be about to explode. Ba Shanai, you, Pei Yunj's aura inexplicably weakened and she continued to shrink into the blanket. However, unexpectedly, the man's lips curled up and he suddenly leaned over to pull the edge of the blanket and pressed forward. He reached under the blanket and slowly inched closer. Just as Pei Yunj's entire body froze. The man's eyes were so dark that she couldn't tell what he was thinking. He chuckled in a low voice and rubbed the tip of her nose. His deep and magnetic voice, with a burning temperature, rang in her ears. Because, I want to coax you home, Yunyun. When they left, Pei Yunj was held captive and fed with oranges. Only then did she leave in a hurry. The next day, Pei Yunj also left very early. However, even Pei Yunj did not know why she felt guilty whenever she saw Hwashidu. On the bus to Hengda, Pei Yunj gathered her thoughts and happened to see the message Du Xiao sent her, so she sent the score she had written over. When she was about to arrive, Du Xiao sent her an emoji. Du Xiao, thumbs up. Pei Yunj's eyelids twitched unconsciously before she sent him another message. Pei Yunj, don't worry about losing the score. Also, check who wants my score. Du Xiao, no problem. Hengda. Yunj, have you heard the news? Zhong Xinglin and Country R's Medical Institute have publicly supported it and even challenged Hong Chongjin, Lu Yunci asked. Hearing this, Bei Yunj rubbed her index finger that was holding the pen. Why are you telling me this? Chapter 446. Bei Yunj was speechless. She thought that he knew something. I'm not. Bei Yunj said clearly. Lu Yunci snorted. You're so stubborn. Bei Yunj was speechless. Forget it. But to be honest, a lot of people are talking about Yun now. They're all free. Bei Yunj slowly took out her homework and slowly made up for it. If it was in the past, Lu Yunci could still laugh and say that she was hopeless. But now that he thought about how this person was the first place in the physics competition, he fell silent. Haha. Bei Yunj did not look like a top student from beginning to end. No one would believe that she could get first place in the competition. However, this was the truth. Sometimes, you look like a fan, but sometimes, you look like an anti-fan. Otherwise, how could a normal fan be so calm? Bei Yunj was speechless. Suddenly, Bei Yunj's phone vibrated. She took it out and opened it. Someone had sent her an email. It was old Mr. 107 from the last time. He was probably asking her if he could meet her to express his gratitude if he could get an official spot in the International Musicians Association. Among them, there was also a music score. Bei Yunj clicked on it and looked at it for a while. She felt that this old man's composing ability was more malleable than others. His style was unique and did not lack spirituality. He was like an unpolished jade that only needed to be carved carefully. Soon. Erotic ebook. Bei Yunj agreed to his request and planned to change the score for this old man if he could pass the competition. At the same time, Qin Youjiao, who had really gotten Yun's score, had a terrible expression on her face. She could not help but call that woman. It's impossible for me to learn this score in a week. Besides, I'm going for the interview in 5 days. Qin Youjiao gritted her teeth. However, after hearing Qin Youjiao's complaints, the woman only laughed. But this is Yun's new song. If you want to enter the International Musicians Association, you can definitely enter with this score. Easy for you to say. But how do you expect me to learn this score in such a short time? Qin Youjiao gritted her teeth. She never thought that Yun would make such a score. How on earth did he write such an extraordinary and majestic score? The voice on the other end of the phone was silent for a while, then said, I can get someone to change it for you. Qin Youjiao heaved a sigh of relief. But in the next moment, the woman laughed and said, But Youjiao, I've helped you so much. Shouldn't you help me with something serious? The blood in Qin Youjiao's body seemed to freeze as she asked, What is it? Why are you so nervous? It's not like you don't know that I like your big brother. How about you help me take a look at the Qin group and copy some things into your big brother's computer? But my relationship with my older brother is strained. How do you want me to enter the Qin family? Qin Youjiao's expression changed. Your relationship with your big brother is strained, but it's not like your relationship with everyone in the Qin family is strained. If you can do this well, I'll help you change a new score. The woman smiled. Youjiao, if you can't help me with this, how can I believe that you can help me with other things? But with your ability, even the Qin family can't fight against you. Why? Because I like your big brother. Chapter 447. Can't you tell that I'm pursuing him? In our nation. The woman was wearing a purple satin dress with a transparent ruby tied to her collar. Her slender hands were wearing black lace gloves as she drank black tea. She crossed her legs and sat by the French windows, looking arrogant and beautiful. Qin Youjiao clenched her fists and her eyes darkened. After a while, she said, I'll do what you asked me to do. The woman smiled. Okay, thank you for your hard work, Youjiao. Until she hung up. The white-haired butler walked beside the woman and said respectfully, "Miss, if you really like him, why don't you buy the Chin family directly? Then can he really like me?" The woman turned around and asked him. The butler wanted to say something but hesitated. There were some things he did not dare to say. Back then, Miss had taken a fancy to Qin Luyen at the banquet. However, Qin Luyen only glanced at her and did not give her more. It was obvious that that man was not interested in Mississippi. Besides, the butler could clearly feel that this President Qin was not an ordinary young master of a corporation. He was afraid that Miss would provoke someone she shouldn't. "I've checked the Qin family. Only Lu Yen is not bad. As for the rest..." The woman leaned against the sofa and closed her eyes to rest. "You don't have to worry too much. So, I don't have to go to Yunqing personally for the time being. Is that Miss Qin really worth your treatment? You spent so much effort and even found Hong Chongjin for her to be the teacher of the Qing family's heir." He had never understood why Miss chose Qin Yojiao and not the newcomer Bai Yunj since she was using her. "I found one of the top teachers in the country for her to take care of Qing Zihuai. It's not entirely because of her." The woman smirked. "Someone is helping the Qin Corporation in our nation's computing institute. Since that's the case, that person has to be taught a lesson." Hearing this, the butler immediately knew who she was talking about. During this period of time, with Miss adding fuel to the fire behind the scenes, the more heated the industry was, the more difficult that person's path would be. However, the butler could not help but sigh. With Miss's status and appearance, why did she have to be entangled with such a dangerous man? After school. Bai Yunj had just walked out of the school gate when she saw a Lincoln limousine parked at the entrance. Before she could approach, the car door opened. Hearing a familiar voice, Bai Yunj immediately looked up. She did not expect it to be Qin Luyen. "You're here to fetch me?" Bai Yunj glanced around and did not see any other cars. "Yes, the old man is having a banquet today, so he asked me to pick you up." Seeing that she was looking around just now, Qin Luyen could not help but chuckle. "Are you waiting for someone else?" "No." After Bai Yunj SS, she's Qin Yojiao, who happened to walk out from behind, saw Qin Luyen's figure. Before she could go forward excitedly, she saw Bai Yunj get into the car and the car immediately disappeared without a trace. Instantly, Qin Yojiao's expression changed as she subconsciously clenched her fists. The girl beside him couldn't help but ask enviously when she saw this scene. "Who is that person?" Qin Yojiao forced a smile. He's my older brother." "Big brother? Isn't he too handsome?" "He's not inferior to your second brother, Qin Yu." "I'm so envious of you, Jiao Jiao." At this point, the girl asked without thinking, "Hey, did your brother come over just to fetch Bai Yunj?" Chapter 448. The smile on Qin Yojiao's face froze even more, exuding an unconcealable coldness. At this moment, the girl regained her senses and instantly panicked. Jiao Jiao, I didn't mean to mock you on purpose." "It's okay," Qin Yojiao said with a smile. Seeing that Qin Yojiao was really not angry, the girl heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, Jiao Jiao is kind and tolerant. "Oh right, Jiao Jiao, this is a gift I specially prepared for you." The girl regained her senses and immediately handed a gift box to Qin Yojiao. "Did you really prepare it for me?" "Thank you, Ning Ning." Qin Yojiao looked very happy and immediately took the gift. "You're welcome. Yojiao, you're my best friend. I bought this when I went to B City last time. It's specially for you." "Okay, my dad is here to pick me up. I'll get going first." Bye." Qin Yojiao watched the girl leave with a smile on her face. Then, she threw the beautifully wrapped gift box into the rubbish bin. Her expression was cold and sarcastic. After the car stopped, Bai Yunj glanced at the people around and asked, "Didn't you say that we're going to a banquet?" "I asked you to wear your school uniform to a banquet?" Qin Luyan glanced at his watch and then glanced at Bei Yunj. He could not help but chuckle. Let's go. Bei Yunj immediately regained her senses and got out of the car, following Qin Luyan. Choosing a gown? Bei Yunj walked beside Qin Luyan. A bright and beautiful girl in a school uniform and a refined and elegant man in a suit were enough to attract all the attention around them. The two of them who are filming? The girls around them could not help discussing excitedly. What kind of idol drama was this? Wasn't the quality of the male and female leads too high? Wipe your saliva. Do you see the 4 bodyguards behind them? They're really rich. The girl beside her pulled the infatuated girl and said in a low voice. At this moment. Only then did others notice that there were 4 bodyguards following behind the two of them. Until Qin Luyan brought Bei Yunj into a design center. President Qin, why are you here? Soon, a fashionably dressed man came forward. Although his tone was strange, his manners were still polite. He did not dare to get close to Qin Luyan. My biological sister is going to attend the banquet later. Help her prepare. I guarantee that there won't be a problem. As long as I'm here, even if your sister looks. The fashionable man smiled and turned his head to look at Bei Yunj. But when he saw Bei Yunj's face clearly, he stopped talking. This is your younger sister? The fashionable man widened his eyes as if he had discovered the location of a hidden treasure. He kept looking at Bei Yunj with a fiery gaze. This made Bei Yunj subconsciously move behind Qin Luyan. This small action successfully pleased Qin Luyan. Yes. Don't you plan to let the young miss make a name for herself? With this face, it would be a waste if she didn't make a name for herself, right? When Qin Luyan heard this, his dark eyes swept over him unhurriedly. His low voice was cold. Can't I afford to raise her? You can afford to raise her. The fashionable man instantly knew that the rumors that President Qin doted on his sister were true. This was too surprising. However, no one could bear to scold his sister with such looks. Then, why don't you hand her over to me now? I guarantee that today's styling will be worthy of her looks. P.S. There are still 6 chapters, but the train of thought is very stuck and the update time is uncertain. Sleep early, good night. Chapter 449. With that said, the fashionable man chuckled. I've always heard that President Qin dotes on his sister, but I've only seen it today. Oh right, President Qin, don't you have a sister? After saying too much, the fashionable man realized that he had said something wrong and immediately shut his mouth. He looked up and indeed, he felt Qin Luyan's gaze turn cold. Soon. He turned sideways and looked at Bei Yunj. He reached out to tidy Bei Yunj's long hair and said carelessly, go. If you think his design is not bad, I'll buy this styling center for you and only design for you in the future. The fashionable man was speechless. There was no need for that, President Qin. In the fashion industry, who didn't want to be the best? If he only designed for one person, it was obvious that he was cutting off his future. I don't attend banquets that often. With that said, Bei Yunj followed the fashionable man in the room. The fashionable man heaved a sigh of relief and realized belatedly that this eldest young lady of the Qin family seemed to be even colder than President Qin. Even the conversation just now seemed to be President Qin trying to please this eldest young lady of the Qin family. Miss Qin, my surname is Pei. Bei Yunj said. I am sorry, Miss Pei. At this moment, the fashionable man was alone with Bei Yunj, but he inexplicably felt that the atmosphere was even more tense than before. She was indeed President Qin's biological sister, they were practically carved from the same bones. I wonder, what kind of style do you like? The fashionable man asked. Anything. Don't exaggerate. Okay, I understand. The fashionable man heaved a sigh of relief. Next, he would be more at ease when it came to matters in the professional field. On the first floor. 2 hours later. Platinum Gold Royal Hotel. Manran, you're here too. Old Master Bo still has some face. Seeing Yu Manran, who was wearing a burgundy mermaid dress, walk over, the socialites in groups of 3 to 5 immediately went over to chat with her. Mrs. Bo invited me so kindly. I had to come. Seeing that they were all partners of the Yu family, Yu Manran forced himself to chat. Of course. After all, Mrs. Bo likes you so much. The woman in the pink dress changed the topic. But Manran, do you know that Bo Jinxiao is back? As soon as he finished speaking, Yu Manran, who had just picked up his wine glass, paused. Isn't she studying at Country R's Royal Academy of Music? They said that once you have enough credits, you can graduate in advance. In our industry, if Jinxiao hadn't left back then, Qin Youjiao wouldn't have stood out for so long. That's right, but it's all good now. Qin Youjiao is just a fake. Another socialite immediately agreed. After all, when Qin Youjiao was still the young lady of the Qin family, she was so talented that other socialites could not even raise their heads. This had already caused many people to be dissatisfied. A short while later, someone could not help but ask, do you guys think Jinxiao will be there today? Of course. She's a distant relative of the Bo family and is so doted on. It's old Master Bo's birthday today. How can she not be present? Hearing this, Yu Manran could no longer hold back. He put down his wine glass and walked towards the door. No way. A woman wearing a light green lace fishtail gown with tassels adorned on it walked towards him. Manran? Long time no see. Yu Manran froze the moment he heard this familiar voice. The moment he looked up, he saw that smiling and beautiful face. Chapter 450. I'm fine. Yu Manran clenched his fists, but his expression was calm. That's good. Bo Jinxiao said with a smile, Manran, I feel that you've become even prettier after not seeing you for 2 to 3 years. Yu Manran was expressionless and just looked at her quietly. Just as expected. In the next moment, Bo Jinxiao smiled gently and generously. But it's good that you don't hate me. Hate you for what? Yu Manran asked in return, making Bo Jinxiao stunned for a moment before she laughed softly. Manran, you're still as straightforward and cute as before. Bo Jinxiao approached her and said gently, I know. That time, I slept. Bo Jinxiao, do you like to disgust people so much? Yu Manran's tone was cold as he interrupted Bo Jinxiao. Do you hate to hear it? Manran, I just want to. Before Bo Jinxiao could finish, a sudden voice interrupted her again. Manran. Hearing the familiar voice, Yu Manran relaxed inexplicably and turned to look at Bei Yunj. Gu, you're here too. Yu Manran's guarded and cold expression completely disappeared. Seeing this, Bo Jinxiao could not help but turn around, wanting to see the person who had spoken. But the moment she looked up, Bo Jinxiao froze. The girl in front of her was very young. She was wearing a simple light blue dress that was embellished with large flowers embroidered with gauze and blue floating gold. Her waist and V-neck were perfect, showing the feelings and charm of a young girl. Her black hair was loose and fell on her shoulders. Her bright and moving face was even more dazzling. In just a moment, a huge sense of danger rose in Bo Jinxiao. Pei Yunj grabbed Yu Manran's hand and walked in, not even looking at Bo Jinxiao from the corner of her eye. Seeing this, Bo Jinxiao heaved a sigh of relief and could not help laughing. It turned out that she was just a little girl with an unstable temperament. For Yu Manran, she left coldly without even looking at her. Gu, did you see me talking to that person? Yu Manran asked nervously. Yes. Then you're leaving just like that? Bei Yunj glanced at her. Don't you hate her? Is it that obvious? When Bei Yunj came in, she saw that Yu Manran's entire face was filled with hostility. He looked like a little girl who had been robbed of her candy, but the other party was smiling calmly. It was obvious that she was very good at dealing with Yu Manran. Look in the mirror, Bei Yunj said calmly. Yu Man ran, very good, very straightforward. As expected of Master Pei. She's just a mistress. Why would I bother with her? At this point, Yu Manran suddenly remembered something. He pulled Bei Yunj and said, Gu, look after your brother Shidu. When this woman was in high school, she confessed to your boyfriend. Although she was rejected, this woman might not have given up. Isn't she with your ex-boyfriend? Bei Yunj asked. Yu Manran was stunned. How did you know? Didn't you say that woman was a mistress? Bei Yunj said without thinking. Smart people were really annoying sometimes. Yes, but she took a step back. Yu Manran laughed. How can I not know Bo Jinxiao? She thinks that she's the #1 in the world and the center of the universe. If she knew that there was something going on between you and Master Du, she would definitely not sit still. Chapter 451. Although Hushidu had been acting a little strange recently. But he was just teasing a child. This man probably never realized that she was a mature woman of the opposite sex. Come on, if it wasn't for that, would Master Du have chased her all the way to the bar? Yu Manran rolled his eyes. Bei Yunj said, have you ever seen someone supervise a girl he likes to do college entrance examination mock questions in his office every day? Yu Manran was speechless. Wasn't Master Du playing too much? Other people played all kinds of passionate games in the domineering CEO's office, but he supervised the little girl to do her homework every day? Yu Manran still wanted to struggle. Perhaps, he just feels that dating and studying are not two different things. Bei Yunj sneered. All right. What he lacks is not a girlfriend, but an heir. Until today, Bei Yunj still remembered how Hushidu had let her go to the Hua Corporation to manage the company without any psychological burden. It was as if she was already his biological sister. If this man could be moved by the mortal world, the iron tree would bloom. At this moment, Yu Manran could only shut up after hearing this. This kind of thing would only make things worse. It was better for her not to cause trouble for Master Du, on the second floor. Old Qin, you found your biological granddaughter. Her illness is almost healed. How wonderful. The 4 old men were chatting at the mahjong table. Don't talk about this anymore. When old Master Qin mentioned it, he could not help but take a deep breath. Back then, Mr. and Mrs. Qin had pretended to obey him and said that they wanted to tell everyone that Gu was their biological daughter. But in the end, it had been 2 years, and they had not mentioned Gu at all, causing everyone to mistakenly think that Gu was an illegitimate daughter. If Lu Yen had not come to the hospital to visit him and tell him the truth, he would have been kept in the dark. What's wrong? Old Master Luo said sarcastically. The 3 grandsons in the family are all promising. Aren't you happy? Is your granddaughter too lousy? Your granddaughter is the lousy one. Old Master Qin immediately retorted. Old Master Luo was stunned for a moment, then he sneered. What's wrong? Where's your granddaughter? You won't even let her say it? Old Master Qin rolled his eyes and couldn't be bothered with him. Old Master Luo snorted. My granddaughter just got into Herman University's finance department. In the future, he can even enter the company to help out at home. After saying this, everyone present could tell that old Master Luo was showing off. Old Master Wu laughed and said, isn't it all because of old Bo's good fortune? Isn't Jinxiao a famous talent in our circle? Old Master Luo also started to flatter, yes, Jinxiao is really good in every way. Who knew? Old Master Bo did not even raise his head. She's not my biological granddaughter. Bo Jinxiao was a distant relative and did not have much to do with the Bo family. However, because Bo Jinxiao had always been outstanding since she was young, the Bo family valued her very much. However, this Bo family did not include Old Master Bo. Old Master Bo's personality had always been perverse and he did not like delicate little girls. However, When the others heard Old Master Bo's words, they felt a little awkward. Even if she's not your biological granddaughter, she's still a junior. Old Master Chin was the only one among the three who dared to say this about Old Master Bo. After all, ever since Old Master Bo was young, the Bo family had been like the sun in the sky. They were the people that others wanted to please. It's my treat today. Old Chin, stop talking, Old Master Bo said unhappily. Old Master Chin was speechless. This damned old man was really demanding. Chapter 452. Alright, let's play another round and go down to see them. Old Master Bo said. Okay. Then let's play another round. In the hall downstairs. Oh my, look. Bo Jinxiao is really the center of attention the moment she comes back. The surrounding socialites' gazes drifted over from time to time to Bo Jinxiao, who was chatting with the young masters of the various corporations. In a corner not far away, Bei Yunj was eating snacks and put some on Yumanran's plate from time to time. Suddenly, Master Pei, you're here too. Bei Yunj turned around and saw Chu Zhixing and Lu Yuanxi. He was wearing a suit and looked handsome and dignified. Especially Chu Zhixing. After a month or two, he had lost a lot of weight. His black eyes were sparkling and his facial features were deep, attracting the attention of many young women. Are you here to steal the cake? Where are you? Lu Yuanxi casually plucked the cherry from Bei Yunj's cake and threw it into his mouth. Bei Yunj stopped and looked at him expressionlessly. There's more. Yumanran hurriedly stuffed the cherry on his cake into Bei Yunj's mouth. Bei Yunj glanced at Yumanran and asked Chu Zhixing lazily, Xiao Chu, why are you here? I came with my brother. With that said, Chu Zhixing could not help but look at Yumanran. This also made Bei Yunj look at Yumanran unconsciously. Seeing that Yumanran was pretending not to know Chu Zhixing, she did not ask further. Master Pei, did you see that? That person in the green dress over there is Brother Chu's sweetheart. Lu Yuanxi, what nonsense are you talking about? Chu Zhixing elbowed Lu Yuanxi heavily. Lu Yuanxi laughed and held his abdomen. You're still denying it? When I bumped into you at the door, I saw you staring at her. By the way, how many years are you younger than her? 4. Chu Zhixing could not help but look at Bo Jinxiao again. 4. Lu Yuanxi raised his eyebrows and happened to glance at Bei Yunj from the corner of his eye. Master Pei, do you think Brother Chu can do it? Bei Yunj glanced at Chu Zhixing and thought for a while. Xiao Chu, I suggest you try someone else. Why change? That big sister looks very gentle and generous. She's completely different from a girl with a bad temper like you. Lu Yuanxi laughed and teased, what are you doing, Master Pei? Are you jealous that she's feminine? Is it sour? Bei Yunj chuckled. What are you laughing at? Lu Yuanxi asked. Little Lu, there are some things that you can't understand. Bei Yunj sighed softly and smirked. She raised an eyebrow and smiled lazily. My face doesn't allow me to stir up trouble. Lu Yuanxi, Chu Zhixing, he had really underestimated the thickness of her skin. However, looking at this face, he really couldn't say anything against his heart. Yumanran, who was beside him, also suppressed his laughter. He had long known that Gu had a vicious tongue, but he rarely saw her like this. It was inexplicably funny and down to earth. Suddenly, Zhixing? Not far away, Bo Jinxiao looked at Chu Zhixing in surprise. You seem to have lost a lot of weight. Hearing this, Chu Zhixing became nervous and clenched his fists unconsciously. You're getting more and more handsome. Sister Qiao can't recognize you anymore. Bo Jinxiao held Chu Zhixing's arm intimately, making the men around them feel jealous. Chapter 453. You're so rude. You're not even calling me sister. Bo Jinxiao thought for a moment and said with a smile, then let's play a duet. How about that? Okay. Chu Zhixing only pursed his lips on the surface, a faint smile on his lips, but he could not help but feel happy. Not far away. Lu Yuanxi shook his head. You've been making things difficult for us for so long. So you're using it to chase after your goddess. One had to know that he and Bei Yunj had been practicing the piano with Chu Zhixing recently. If you're unhappy, are you going to play a duet with little Chu later? Bei Yunj asked in return. Hearing this, Lu Yuanxi had goosebumps all over his body. He looked at her expressionlessly. Bei Yunj ignored Lu Yuanxi and asked Yu Manran, do you know if there's any place here where we can get some fresh air? Yu Manran was puzzled. You don't know about Platinum Gold Royal Hotel? It's my first time here. No way. This is the Hua Corporation's property and Master Du has never brought you here before. Yu Manran was secretly surprised. Then, she said secretly, there's a pool behind, There's also a theme restaurant and a large garden. Where do you want to go? The garden. Bei Yunj said. Okay, then let's go out secretly later. Yu Manran was already out of breath. Especially when Bo Jinxiao was still around. Soon. After Chu Zhixing and Bo Jinxiao's duet ended, Bo Jinxiao played the second song by the side, causing countless people to exclaim in admiration. Look, Brother Chu's eyes are glued to Bo Jinxiao. Lu Yuanxi smiled carelessly. But to be honest, Bo Jinxiao's piano skills are not worse than Qin Youjiao's. Qin Youjiao's piano skills were exquisite. However, Bo Jinxiao had an additional charm that made people linger. Master Pei, are you going to learn how to play the piano next time? Lu Yuanxi asked. Hearing this, Yu Manran immediately laughed without thinking. Who would dare to teach you? How about we let Brother Chu beg his goddess to let Bo Jinxiao teach Master Pei? This way, we can create an opportunity for Brother Chu. Not interested. Bei Yunj said lazily. With that said, Lu Yuanxi couldn't say anything more. Not long after. The old family heads upstairs came down. When I walked to the corridor, I heard a very good piano sound. I guessed that it was you, Yin Xiao, old Master Luo said with a smile. Yeah, other than Qin, just as old Master Wu was about to mention someone, he happened to catch a glimpse of old Master Qin at the side and immediately changed his mind. Other than Qin Xiao, who else can be so powerful? Grandpa Wu, you're teasing me. Bo Jinxiao immediately stood up and poured a cup of tea for old Master Bo. Grandpa, how have you been recently? Pretty good. Old Master Bo nodded, not giving Bo Jinxiao a way out in public. He praised, you're playing better and better. Bo Jinxiao smiled as well. In school, there are many powerful seniors with excellent piano skills. I still have to learn more. It's just that I can't seem to find a partner in the country. Hearing Bo Jinxiao's words, the other socialites fell silent. Who would want to be Bo Jinxiao's partner? Wasn't it obvious that she had to be a supporting character for Bo Jinxiao and accompany her? Hearing this, old Master Bo was about to speak when he heard Mrs. Li laugh from not far away. I remember that Miss Qin plays the piano very well. With that said, the atmosphere on the field became cold and heavy. Wasn't she talking about Qin Youjiao? But who didn't know that Qin Youjiao was no longer the young lady of the Qin family? Chapter 454. Bo Jinxiao stopped what she was doing and picked up the juice glass as well. She smiled and said, Miss Qin is amazing, but I don't think I'll have the chance to see Miss Qin again. Hearing this, Mrs. Li froze. Then, he looked at Bei Yunj, who was beside him. Isn't this Miss Qin standing here perfectly fine? With that said, even old Master Qin only realized now that the person Mrs. Li was talking about was Bei Yunj. After Lu Yuanxi regained his senses, he looked at Bei Yunj. You know how to play the piano? A little. Why didn't you say so earlier? Lu Yuanxi took a deep breath and smiled. Bei Yunj glanced at him calmly. Did you ask? Lu Yuanxi was speechless. Yes, very Bei Yunj. At this moment, everyone's eyes landed on Bei Yunj. Bo Jinxiao's smile froze. After thinking for a while, she immediately knew Bei Yunj's identity. So it was the new young lady of the Qin family. Miss, are you good at playing the piano? Bo Jinxiao asked. Not bad. After Bei Yunj finished speaking, Lu Yuanxi could not help but look at Bei Yunj. He felt that there was something wrong with this answer. However, the way Yu Manran looked at Bei Yunj was much more realistic. Was this okay? Then tell me, who was very good? Hearing this, Bo Jinxiao only smiled. I see. It's normal for girls to retain a sense of novelty and passion for things like the piano. I remember that Manran knows how to play the piano too. Why don't Manran teach Miss Qin more when you're free? Seeing Bo Jinxiao's perfect appearance, Yu Manran found it ridiculous. Yu Manran's tone was cold. Miss Bo, you're so nosy. No, the eldest miss of the Qin family, Mrs. Li had seen Bei Yunj play the piano in the Lu family. Before she could explain, Bei Yunj suddenly spoke. 90 minutes later, Grandpa, I want to go out for a walk. Bei Yunj looked at old Master Qin. She didn't want to stay in there forever. Okay. Go play. I'll get your big brother and the others to look for you later. All right. After Bei Yunj finished speaking, she pulled Yu Manran out of the room. Old Qin, your granddaughter is really beautiful. Old Master Wu couldn't help but praise. Of course. Don't you know whose genes it is? Old Master Qin snorted. Lu Yuanxi, she finally knew why Bei Yunj was so confident. It runs in the family. Suddenly, in the living room, a pleasant piano sound sounded and everyone looked at Bo Jinxiao, who was still playing the piano. Only Chu Zhixing felt that this song seemed a little familiar. He should have heard it somewhere before. Furthermore, it seemed like it was much better than Xiao Qiao's. Until the song ended. Old Master Bo, who did not speak much, suddenly asked, the song you played was Yun's Sea Fall. Bo Jinxiao said with a smile, I heard that Grandpa likes Yun a lot, so I specially went to learn this song. However, I was in a hurry and her song was a little difficult, so I only learned one song. Old Master Bo nodded. Others might not have noticed, but Old Master Bo had noticed that Bo Jinxiao had made a few mistakes. It was not Bo Jinxiao's fault. Sea Fall was the most difficult song. I think I heard the eldest miss of the Qin family play this song in the Lu family before. Mrs. Li muttered to herself again. Besides, it was much better than Bo Jinxiao's. Chapter 455. Hearing this, the smile on Bo Jinxiao's face froze. She knows how to play too. Miss Pei plays very well. Mrs. Li clicked her tongue. Why wasn't she her daughter? She was good-looking and good at playing the piano. She was even so humble as to say that she played the piano well. It seems like Miss Pei was being humble just now. Bo Jinxiao's eyes darkened and she turned to smile at Chu Zhixing. Zhixing, your friend is very good. Chu Zhixing nodded. She's the person I admire the most. She knows everything. Lu Yuanxi, who was not far away, was speechless. It was over. Chu Zhixing was really a huge fan of Bei Yunj. Didn't he see that Bo Jinxiao's smile was very forced? At this moment, another girl who studied music said, speaking of which, I wonder how Manran's relationship with Yun is. I heard that Yun is her personal arranger. Hearing this, Old Master Bo realized that he had forgotten something important. Where's Man? Old Master Bo stood up suddenly. This action made the smile on Bo Jinxiao's face freeze. She had never thought that Yu Manran would one day make old Master Bo so concerned about Yun. In the garden. On the way, Yu Manran poked at her ice cream and ate it, not having the self-awareness of a female celebrity at all. Goo, did you see that old man in a white t-shirt and casual pants just now? He's the old master of the Bo Corporation. Do you remember him? Bei Yunj suddenly remembered. That old man from the International Musicians Association selection? She remembered that in the selection video, the old man was wearing a tuxedo and a top hat, his hair combed neatly. He did not look like the casual old master at all. Yes, yes. Bei Yunj raised an eyebrow. You know him? The Bo family and our Yu family are family friends. I have a good relationship with Mrs. Bo. So when they heard that you're my arranger some time ago, they thought of a way to hope that you can give a spot to old Master Bo. After listening to Yu Manran's explanation, Bei Yunj also responded, I see. Goo, do you think old Master Bo can pass? Yu Manran asked carefully. I don't know. These words made Yu Manran sigh uncontrollably. But the next moment, he heard Bei Yunj say, but I quite like his music score. Let the Bo family find a professional teacher. That way, we will have more confidence in the selection. Why don't you teach me, Goo? Yu Manran probed. As expected. Bei Yunj looked up with a half-smile. Is it fair to the other contestants if I teach him? Hearing this, Yu Manran stopped begging. She could tell that Bei Yunj would not touch a matter of principle. When the banquet was about to end, Yu Hanran called and asked Yu Manran to prepare to go back with him. At this moment, Bei Yunj and Yu Manran were also preparing to leave. But they did not expect to bump into Bo Jinxiao. It was as if she was looking for someone on purpose. Miss Pei, are you going back? Bo Jinxiao asked with a smile. Bei Yunj's eyes curved and her red lips curled up lazily. But she still gave off a distant feeling. Then, do I have a chance to be friends with Miss Pei? If possible, would Miss Pei be willing to give me your contact number? Before Bo Jinxiao could finish, Bei Yunj interrupted her calmly. Miss Bo, you're too polite. Although she said this, it was obvious that she did not intend to be friends with Bo Jinxiao. Chapter 456. It was obvious that it was Bo Jinxiao's first time being rejected and she felt a little uncomfortable, but she pretended to be generous and glanced at Yu Manran beside her. Is it because of Manran? Turning around, Bo Jinxiao said to Bei Yunj, but I have a good relationship with Zhixing, I don't lack friends. Bei Yunj smiled. No matter how good she was at tolerating it, Bo Jinxiao's smile disappeared completely in the face of Bei Yunj's attitude. From the corner of her eye, she happened to see the bracelet on Bei Yunj's wrist and a trace of surprise flashed past her eyes. Perhaps because she had been staring for too long, the young lady who came with Bo Jinxiao also noticed that Bei Yunj and Bo Jinxiao were wearing the same bracelet. Why is this bracelet the same as yours, Jinxiao? The young lady said with a smile. It should be a coincidence. The moment Bo Jinxiao finished speaking, the young lady's tone suddenly became sharp and strange. Jinxiao, there are many people in our industry who imitate your outfits. What's so strange about that? It's just that, this bracelet is a love gift from young Master Chu and someone actually has the cheek to copy it. Are you done? Miss Bo, did you change your profession and become an artiste? You've been overseas for 2 to 3 years and there are still people imitating your outfits? Yu Manran immediately laughed, his tone cold. The girl's face turned livid, but she did not dare to say anything overboard in front of Yu Manran. After all, now that the Yu family was working with the Hua family, their status in Yunsheng was unshakable. Even the Bo family had to give them some face. So, the girl changed the topic and could only vent her anger on Bei Yunj. Miss Pei is really amazing. She hasn't been back to the Qin family for long, right? She can already seduce Miss Yu? It seems like Miss Pei really came prepared. Sigh, Qin Youjiao's status is still too low. Why? Do you need to perform something because you're so skilled? Pei Yunji's eyes curved as she looked at her with a smile that did not reach her eyes. Hearing this, the girl trembled with anger. Let's go, man. Bei Yunji was about to leave when she was stopped by the girl. Stop. You're wearing the same bracelet as her, how can you be so nonchalant? The temperature in Bei Yunji's eyes gradually dropped. However, when she looked up, she saw Qin Luyan standing behind Bo Jinxiao and Bo Jinxiao. Under the thin gold-rimmed glasses, his refined and noble eyes seemed to emit a trace of coldness. His dark eyes were frightening. As soon as he finished speaking, the girl, who had been arrogant just a moment ago, instantly felt a chill down her spine. This year, the Qin Corporation had expanded too quickly. People in the industry had no choice but to pay attention to this young and promising President Qin. Bo Jinxiao turned around and saw the refined and handsome man walking toward Bei Yunji. Then, a trace of coldness flashed past his dark eyes hidden under his thin glasses. His long, bony fingers gently circled Bei Yunji's wrist. After undoing the bracelet, he threw it into the trash can. What our Gu has can only be unique. With that said, Qin Luyan took off his wristwatch and put it on Bei Yunji's wrist. Hearing this, he scoffed, so the eldest young master of the Chu family is so perfunctory when it comes to love gifts. He's not even willing to find a custom-made one. Instantly, Bo Jinxiao's face paled and she looked at the man with a dangerous aura in front of her instinctively. However, at this moment, Qin Luyan only glanced at Bei Yunji's dress. Then, he knelt on one knee and tidied her dress seriously. You're tuning into the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.